Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Garus.
And this is Edgedancer and Roshar on the Nerdy.
The Wordy.
The book club.
This is what I imagine edge dancing is.
That's not what I imagine edge dancing is. At all.
That's because you are a degenerate.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Calling this book Edgedancer and using the word slick a lot was weird for it to be about a kid. Anyway, let's never bring up that again. Thank you everyone for being here on a lovely Friday morning in October.
Yeah, first of all, we made it to October. Second of all, this is one of the last Friday book clubs. Do not panic. Everybody calm down. Do not panic. Arzu, thank you so much for 10 gifted memberships. Look at this little snargs running through the woods.
Next week will be the final Friday book club of the year.
Like gasp.
We'll still have book club pretty regularly as we get through Oathbringer. But because of my rehearsal and then show schedule for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory at YPT, I'm on the website now. So I can actually definitely talk about it because my face is right there.
Your face is literally on the website. So.
And if you see my face and you're like, who's David Webb? That's my professional actor name. Go to IMDb and see some of the things I've done.
Some of the dozens of oh, they were in that. Oh, they were in that.
No,
oh,
my IMDb, I think my IMDb only has 6 things on it.
Oh, do you not update it yourself?
No, I don't give a shit.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah. If a company hasn't added me to something, I don't go through and put myself on there.
I guess if it's extra work, it doesn't really matter.
No, none of my extra work's on there. Only my jobs are on there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, advice for young actors: don't put your extra work on your IMDb
unless you want to be an extra actor.
Yeah, people do look and they do judge you for it. I'm sorry, that's just that's the industry.
It is what it is. But Arzu, thank you so much for 10 gifted memberships and
Load Bolt.
Thank you for that super chat. I didn't bring pancakes, but now I want pancakes, so
we could get pancakes after.
We could.
I don't really think they're pancakes, though.
What do you mean?
They're more like little Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she's eating a bunch of Hot Pockets. They all have different flavors. She wants to try the 10 different flavors. That sounds like fucking Hot Pockets. It's not Pop-Tarts because they're not all sweet. Some of them have savory fillings and spicy fillings. If it was all sweet, if it was different fruits and shit, I would say it could be Pop-Tarts. But these are fucking Hot Pockets.
No. Disgusting.
What do you mean, no?
Hot Pockets are disgusting. Pancakes are great.
Yeah, but these aren't pancakes. They're little Hot Pockets filled with paste.
It says that they are pancakes, okay?
No, but they're not crepes because they're not folded over, right? They're she can grab them and eat them and then the paste is in the middle.
I've gotten crepes to go all the time.
Aren't they jelly-filled cakes in Japan? Yeah, that might be more...
They're souffle pancakes.
That might be more appropriate.
See? Pancakes.
They're not pancakes.
That is a pancake.
Souffle pancakes are not pancakes. They're souffles.
They are called pancakes.
No, the Japanese just use words randomly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so rude.
Yeah, I'm coming for you to Japan.
Racist.
Yeah, Japan, what you gonna do about it? I love you so much, Japan.
Can't wait to be in you.
So many of my great friends live there.
In April.
And I cannot wait to see them in a few months.
Y'all should go to Star Wars Celebration in Japan in April and come say hi.
Yeah, we'll be there. Hopefully we'll have official reasons, but right now it's just for fun.
Yeah.
And I want to see my friend's kid. You know.
That's fair.
Anyway. They are not Hot Pockets. They're basically Hot Pockets.
No, they're not.
Pancakes are sweet.
Fight you.
And if it's a fucking little pastry filled with spicy creme, it's a Hot Pocket. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah.
No. Hot Pockets are nasty. That would mean that fucking Lunchables exist in this world, and I just refuse to believe that.
No, it's actually just the Mr. Beast Lunchly. You can get a Prime and a... What is his chocolate called? A Feastable?
Feastable.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyways.
My favorite thing is that Mr. Beast and Logan Paul are feuding with doctors who are this isn't actually... You can't just say things are healthy. And they're yeah, but it's better than Lunchables. And you know what? Honestly, it probably is.
Yeah, but the bar is literally buried under the fucking basement. You know what I mean? Okay, maybe it is marginally better, but it still doesn't, it still doesn't count as food.
Mm-hmm.
Judah Candaceres, thank you for that super chat. I imagine the pancakes scallion pancakes? I actually don't know
I've never had a scallion pancake, but I do like scallions, so I'm curious now. Over on Twitch, Blue Suga, thank you so much for 13 months in a row. Executive producer coming in with the subscription at tier 1.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate you.
Hell yeah. Before we get into book club, y'all, we gotta plug Heroes Without Borders.
Yeah,
because
that's right.
if you missed that announcement, shame on you, because
No,
it was
it's
a
fine.
podcast.
It's fine if you didn't. It's fine if you missed it.
No, you should have gone and watched us talk for an hour, because it was really fun.
Yeah.
But we did announce our brand new project, because we like to just add those. It's we're doing a charity stream that is going to be raising money for Doctors Without Borders, and that is going to be starting November 20th.
Wait, what? That's like less than 2 months away.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Have fun.
We should probably announce the cast.
We should probably do that. Yeah. We have like 95% of the cast confirmed.
We're waiting on one person so that we can confirm dates with people, and then we'll go from there.
Yes. So hopefully this upcoming, like next week, hopefully I will finalize the schedule over the weekend, and then the following week we will have cast announcements as well as sponsorship announcements.
Yeah.
We're very excited. It's going to be 4 weeks of every Wednesday, Friday, live streaming over on the Roleplay Relay. So make sure you're subscribed over there.
Yes.
Yeah, go get your booties over there. And yeah, we're going to be playing D&D to raise money for charity.
Yeah, it's going to be sick. Right now it looks like we're going to have like 28 content creators, I guess 28 and me, because I'm not one of them.
Right.
But I'll be DMing. That's going to be every Wednesday and Friday night here in the United States. Early morning for you Europeans.
We are
very
not
sorry.
in the United States. I just want to be very clear about that.
That's true. I meant time zone wise, but yeah.
We moved, but we haven't moved. Well, obviously this is still the same set.
Yeah.
We are in the process of moving. We are not moving to the US right now.
Yeah, this might be the last book, or next week might be the last book club from this set.
Yeah, it might be. Or do we want to move the set before that, because I'm gonna have a lot of setup to do.
Because then that weekend we have Shaz and...
Yeah, the wedding, yeah.
But where are we going to film reaction? Oh, we have so much to think about.
Yeah. Next week might look different.
Y'all. We're trying to get ahead so that we can move stuff, but we're not ahead. It's a problem. I have a whole schedule to my left that's giving me heart palpitations. Anyway, this is Book Club. We're here to talk about Edgedancer and Roshar, and you might think, well, now they're going to get into it. They're 7.5 minutes into this podcast, but we haven't told you yet that this podcast is brought to you by Misty Mountain Gaming.
Misty Mountain.
Yeah, that's right. Misty Mountain Gaming is a website nearby on this here interwebs where you can purchase rocks that have been expertly crafted, shaped, and stoned into. They throw stones at stones, and it makes dice. That's right, dice. You want to play a titty RPG? Go to mistymountaingaming.com and buy dice, because if you're a dice goblin, the downside is you are poor, right? Because you've spent all your money on dice.
Yeah.
And they don't really have a lot of resale value. The upside, listen to this. When one of those dice rolls poorly, you can go bad, put that shit in dice jail, and you have backup dice.
Yeah.
Because you're a goblin who gobbles dice, but don't actually eat them. They're literal rocks, and that might kill you, or you'll poop it out. I actually don't know. You might be able to...
You can put it in your mouth, but don't swallow.
Don't swallow the D8s, though. They're sharp. Anyway, go to MistyMountainGaming.com, use code nerdynightly15 for 15% off your order, or don't. But do, because they're great.
Well, then you're going to spend more money, so you're only really doing a disservice to yourself.
Yeah, Al Gonzalez says, I may have spent $300 on dice lately. I hope you use our code at MistyMountainGaming.com so that we get some of that money.
Hell yeah.
And back to the show.
We do have one more quick announcement.
Oh my god, what?
I know. So the season finale of Rings of Power was this week, and we stopped reacting because we didn't love it, but we talked about doing like a live stream to kind of talk to people about the season. We've had a lot of people like requesting, like, where are the rest of the reactions? We just didn't want to react to the show anymore because we weren't loving it, but we decided we can do a live stream. We can like chat with the audience, and it can be more of a casual thing. So we're tentatively scheduling that for Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to talk about the Rings of Power, that'll be the place to do it. We haven't loved the show so far. So if that's your vibe and you want to come talk about it, it will be hopefully a nice therapy session for all of us.
I think I'm going to be more positive than you.
Oh.
I think there's some really excellent parts to the show. I don't think that the show is good, but I think that there are really excellent pieces.
Yeah.
That I want to like talk about why I think the conversation. I don't want to just shit on it because I think it's easy to just shit on Rings of Power because they make some truly baffling decisions in the writers' room.
Mm-hmm.
But there is some truly exceptional acting on that show that deserves some heraldry. So if you're like, I don't want to just listen to you complain for an hour, I think there's going to be more positivity than you'd think, but also there will be some negativity because like that full charge halt. Oh boy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be kind of like a 50-50.
Yeah.
So
I would give this series a 5.
Yeah.
Or like a 4.
Yeah.
It's a 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of 10.
It's not like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Snow Alpha says, please don't stop Agatha's reacts. I've been loving those. Agatha All Along reaction will be up at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Or no, we'll be up at 2 p.m. and then we're going to like send you all over to it.
Ooh, smart.
And it's
call.
very, 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 very good. Like that show a lot. It's like my favorite thing on TV right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Agatha All Along is fabulous. If you haven't loved the stuff Marvel has put out recently, absolutely valid because neither have we. But this show might be my favorite Marvel thing in the last what do they call it?
Era?
Phase or whatever it is called. Genuinely, I think it's fantastic. So yeah, don't you worry, Snowwolf. We are not gonna stop reacting to that because we love it.
Let's talk about
Roshar. Legend of Vox Machina will drop Saturday.
Let's talk about episode 1, and then Sunday for episode 2, Monday for episode 3. Let's talk about Roshar.
Let's do it. All right, cool.
What'd you think of the essay?
Oh my god, I don't even remember the essay at this point.
Okay, well, our job is to talk about it. So
no, I know.
If you could have a thought.
I actually genuinely forgot that I listened to the essay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I quite enjoyed Edgedancer, but the essay was better than the last one. In terms of what the fuck does any of this mean?
Yeah, we're at a point now where we understand investiture enough.
Yeah.
Where I was able to kind of follow along.
Yeah, we know that there are 3 habitable planets.
Yeah.
In this
and that the
galaxy?
Voidbringers are on another planet.
Yeah, there's a fucking desolate volcano planet. There's a freezing cold planet where all of the Spren live.
Yes.
And then you've got Roshar.
We also have the
solar system. Thank you. I was
we also have the reveal that the high storms might predate investiture, which is very interesting. I had just sort of stupidly assumed that the high storms had started in one of the desolations, but it seems Roshar has just always been a high storming.
Hi, storming. I think that it was definitely a surprise because I thought that because the storms were so closely tied to events that happened because of the shards.
Yeah.
Dalinar got visions during high storms that I just thought that they were connected. But
and they
maybe
might
not.
They might be. The essay is not definitive on this.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was, mildly interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It piqued my interest.
Yeah. Which is more than the first one did.
Yeah.
The first one just felt like a lot of words.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fine. They predate the shattering, not investiture. Yeah, whatever that means.
I mean, I think the essay kind of left
is.
that up to... They don't know, right? And I think that that's one of the weird things about having these essays be written by characters. It is the interesting difficulty for me as a reader about reading an essay about a place written by a character in that world who I have no perspective on is that I don't know if they're trustworthy or not.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that is the level up. Never mind.
Yeah.
I
don't know if the person who wrote the essay is a valuable resource in terms of information or if it's all fucking lies. And I don't trust Brandon Sanderson either way. So
actually, Lift wrote the essays.
So yeah, it's that weird thing of like, I don't know who wrote this. Clearly, it's not Brandon Sanderson, right? I mean, obviously he wrote it. I'm not trying to start like a William Shakespeare who wrote the books controversy.
It was actually Robert Jordan came back and wrote the essays for Brandon Sanderson.
The ghost of Robert Jordan was like, I went to this crazy place. And so I think that the Arcanum Unbound, when it gets into the essays, is like a person who may or may not be reliable has written an essay about a place that's not in the book, but it's like this extra book that it definitely feels like something that Brandon Sanderson is leaving very open so that he can retcon any of this if he needs to, because he already kind of retcons stuff.
Like what?
Well, like the whole change to Zeths. Oh, what did you think of the change in the Zeth fight?
You never sent it to me.
It's on your Kindle, in the book, on your Kindle.
Oh, didn't read it.
That was the one.
I said I was gonna do that. Yeah. Isn't it just that he gets his hand cut off instead of stabbed?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I think it makes sense as a change, but I did not read it. It's been a busy week.
I love it. Yeah, no, it definitely feels. I don't know how I feel about the essays. It is weird, right? Because there's a part of me that's like, it's fun information.
Yeah.
And
you know what it feels like it is for the Redditors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who do their 9 to 5 and they come home and they just talk with people about this series that they love. Like, do you think this is real? What could this mean? Like, it's for the people who want to do these like crazy deep dives on what the world could mean, and how gravity works for these people, because maybe it's like there's like it's a point whatever Cosmere size standard, blah blah blah, like these are the people. This is for the people who have come up with the like measurement, like the metric system for fucking Roshar, without Brandon Sanderson having to put it out. Yeah, it's for you motherfuckers.
Well, and it's so that like the characters are just a little bit older.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Well, yeah. It was, and Lift is such a weird one, because I was like, Lift feels like she's 9. But, you know what?
But she's actually 13, which is actually 16.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
Lift it says that she's 10, but is 13, but Roshar years to our years, she's 16 years old.
Is it that much? I thought it was...
Or like 15 and a half or
I don't
something,
know.
right?
Yeah. But
how much extra year do they get a year? They get like 10%, right? So I guess 10 years they would get 1 extra year.
Yeah.
So she'd be like almost 15.
But that's what I mean. These essays are for the people who are like, I need to do the maths on how old exactly people are in our years versus this year's based on the information that is given. Yeah. 500 days per year. Yeah.
Well, no, 500 days per year is more than 10%. Oh, but there's 20 hours per day. This math gets so fucking complicated.
See, but that's what I mean. I'm just kind of like, sure. You know,
guys, what are we doing?
Whatever you say. And I, like, when I had more free time,
yeah,
I think that this is the kind of shit that I would love, right? Like, when I was reading Aragon in high school, and I was just rereading that fucking book over and over again, I would have loved to, really have this kind of nitty-gritty stuff to dig into with the people who also loved it. So totally understand why it's there, but for me, I just feel like I am missing so much context, and that I'm like, it could be true or it could all just be lies. I don't know. Pattern actually wrote it, so it's all lies.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was good. It's a good little essay.
Yeah.
There was even the writer of the essay being confused about the size of the creatures was interesting, and how they don't collapse under the weight of themselves. I dig that, because I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh wait, no, we have to. We're forgetting about the most important part of the essay.
Oh.
The way in which the natural world functions in relationship to Spren is actually deeply fascinating. That's the most important part. The most important part is that the Rashadium are horses that are almost smart sentient creatures because Spren give them the ability to be smarter.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I definitely don't understand.
Oh, sky eels? Sky eels can't fly.
No,
Spren make them fly.
Spren, yeah.
So they're radiants.
Can animals be radiants?
I mean, if they have a Spren that gives them the ability to fly, why not?
Yeah, like if a radiant is just a human connection to a human who is connected to Spren, then I guess then animals could be radiants, depending on what that connection is.
Yeah. Oh my god. Wait, so we're going to have a radiant horse. Guys, this is turning into the Green Lanterns. We're going to have a radiant horse. We're going to have a radiant fucking crab. We're going to have a radiant kremling.
I want a radiant, like, full-on island from the Rishi Isles.
Oh my god, yeah. We're just doing, it's just Green Lantern. Mm-hmm. It is just Green Lantern. Soon we're going to use radiant powers to fly to other planets.
Damn. That's fun.
Nerdy just guessed the plot of Hoofbringer.
Oh my god. Radiant Chasm Fiend. Oh boy.
If only Lift had been there to save Adelin's horse.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sureblood.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was tragic.
Sureblood is the name of a racist horse, though, so I am,
I don't know if horses can understand racism.
I mean, if the Spren are giving them intelligence, maybe they can.
They're like almost human level.
The Spren understand racism.
Do they?
Yeah. Syl gets it. She knows what's going on.
Does she get it, though?
She, understands the concept. Judah Canizares, thank you so much.
Thank you, Judah.
The Ars Arcanum, which delves into the nitty-gritty of the magic, was written by the same person who did the Roshar essay, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, guys.
That checks out.
Sureblood is, the name of a lot of boats in Alabama. You know what I mean?
God. Great. Love that.
Is there a racism Spren?
Maybe.
Probably.
Maybe.
It's
it
likely.
only shows up around Light Eyes. I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely some weird
Garen Barrows, thank you for the memberships. Thank you for gifting that to people.
Thank you so much. There are no new audiobook reactions from this week, but now you can go back and listen to the other ones. So you're welcome. And there's not going to be any next week because we were doing the full book recap. But after that, maybe, question mark?
What?
Maybe some audiobook reactions?
Yeah, for Oathbringer, for sure.
Great. Yeah.
We just haven't set a limit, but...
No. I did put the future book club schedule in the announcements in the Discord.
Yeah, it's going to be a little all over the place. Sorry about that.
It is honestly fairly consistent. I'm very proud of us.
Great.
It's like two... it's like 2 Sundays, and then it's all Mondays. Okay. So, it's not bouncing all over the place. I feel like we did an okay job of making it consistent. But yeah, definitely go check out the Discord if you want to know what the rest of the year looks like. Cade Catastrophe, thank you for that super chat. I was joking with my friend Brandon isn't truly a fantasy writer at heart. He's a sci-fi author who wants to establish the base for space magic. Yes, but here's the thing.
I agree with that.
Here's the thing. They literally refer in the essay to this shit as magic, and y'all were trying to be like, no, it's just science, but they literally call it magic. Yeah. So y'all are wrong, okay? Y'all are just incorrect.
I think that Cosmere fans have some key words that they like to throw into conversations.
Sure.
You know what I mean? The sort of like political pundits. There are like Brandon Sanderson pundits that all kind of say the same things that they got from a Reddit thread 10 years ago. And it's really interesting the way things are sort of parroted within this community. And that is one of them. No, Sanderlanche is more just charm. I mean more the concept that magic is science is magic is science that we just don't understand yet, which isn't true.
They called it magic.
Yeah,
guys.
They call it magic, so it's magic.
It is magic. That is just...
Yeah.
I don't make the rules.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Yeah. No, the essay was interesting. I definitely think that we have more to learn about the Spren. But yeah.
Can a mod ban Nicholas Cardillo for me, please?
Why? Oh, let him cook? Nerdy hates cooking.
I actually don't. No. I actually enjoy cooking. I in the last couple of years I've gotten more enjoying. I'm joking about banning Nicholas, by the way. Before anyone does it. I need to be careful.
Yeah, you're so serious. Damn.
James. No, Rob Ross, no. No, I said I was joking.
It's fine. They only deleted the message. They're fine. Yeah.
Oh no, what have I done? I've gone drunk with power.
You fucked up.
I'm too strong.
You fucked up. You said something into the world to make it happen, and the people made it happen. Well, how does that feel?
Honestly, fine. I really don't give a shit.
Oh my god.
I put him in timeout for 10 seconds. Yeah, the essay's cool.
Please understand that this was a joke, and I'm sorry that it had 10 seconds of consequences.
And they come back with, I'm not surprised on this economy. I don't know what that means at all.
I get it.
The problem is I can't let Brandon cook. You know what I mean? Because,
Okay, alright, that's enough.
Let's not bully Nicholas now. I can't let Brandon cook because these books came out years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't even be like, oh, I
Fair
can't
enough.
wait for the next thing. I know when I'm reading it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we're not in a position of like... I think that what some people forget when we're having these arguments is that I'm not advocating for people reading or not reading these books. They're the most popular books in the world. Like,
Are they really?
Brandon Sanderson's Kickstarter raised $15 million for his secret projects. The dude is fine. The audience is fine.
Oh, sure, he's fine.
Brandon Sanderson books are going to keep coming out, and there's literally nothing I can do to stop it. And I think that sometimes people are like, oh no, if you don't like it, it's going to become less popular, and I want more of this.
Yeah.
And like, guys, Brandon Sanderson is so popular that like you really don't have to worry about my dumb opinions influencing him in any way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Brandon Sanderson is going to be like, he only thought my book was an A+. So,
Fuck that guy.
now, like, Will White, you know, I was mean to. But Brandon Sanderson, I don't think I've really been mean to yet.
No.
Just a little disappointed in the ending of Warbreaker.
Just making fun of him for saying slick so much.
The further we get from Warbreaker, the more disappointed I am by the end of that book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The more I think about the end of Warbreaker, the more I'm like, why did we have to just do nothing with it? Why does it end with just kind of like back to the status quo nothingness?
Oh, interesting. All right.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way, but...
Yeah, I just like Vivenna not going back to help her people out after spending a whole book finding out that they're struggling is the like most disappointing end to a novel in recent memory for me.
Yeah, but I feel like I was pretty disappointed in the moment. I don't think I've gotten more disappointed.
I just get angry. I just like get re-angry every time I think about it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Judah, thank you for that super chat. Who should voice Lift in the animated adaptation?
Oh. I don't know any children. It should be like a kid, you know what I mean?
Or, yeah, like a teenager, I guess.
Who has, like, good energy and is fun? Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh. Okay.
So, I don't know. It should be, Sydney Sweeney.
Oh. That's a choice.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, Mindy Kaling. And do it in the style of Velma on HBO Max.
No. Please, dear God. Fucking Christ. It should be. I don't know.
Jenna Ortega's too like negative. You need someone who's like poppy. You know what I mean? You need like who voiced Pippi Longstocking back in the day. You need that kind of voice. Obviously, she might be too old now.
I was gonna say Ash Ketchum.
Tara Strong should do it. The voice of Bubbles.
Oh wow.
But in the voice of Bubbles.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, I unfortunately don't know.
Oh, guys, I'm so dumb.
Laura Bailey.
No, there's an obvious choice. It's Chris Pratt.
Fuck off. Jesus Christ. Absolutely not. There is no way. Yeah.
I love that we got some hype for Pippi Longstocking in the chat. Yeah, Canada. Yeah, Canadian
Wait, that's
animation.
A Canadian thing?
I'm pretty sure Pippi Longstocking was a Canadian show. I think it got like I'm sure you could have seen it elsewhere, but I'm pretty sure it was produced in Canada.
Oh, I had no idea. Literally no clue.
Yeah. Do we have any? I like the essay. It was fun. I don't have a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Yeah.
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 I'm like I don't have a lot to say about it. We just talked about it for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Edgedancer.
Edgedancer.
So the chapter that was the interlude in the book was not actually in this version that we had, which was fine.
No, so, well, kind of. So the chapter that is the interlude, if you buy Edgedancer on its own,
yeah,
that is the prologue.
Yeah.
But if you read it in the Arcanum Unbounded, it's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't have like a different version of the book. We just only had the Edgedancer chapters in a book. That's not an Edgedancer book.
Okay.
This was confusing, y'all. Because
it's a little bit confusing.
Edgedancer as an audiobook does not exist in Canada. The only place in the Canadian Audible store that you can listen to Edgedancer is in the Arcanum Unbounded book.
Yeah.
Audiobook.
Yeah.
Cool? Are we all on the same page?
Yeah, we got it.
Crab people. What the fuck's up with that?
What? Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, didn't love that. Because at first, he was like, yeah, I'm an immortal. And I was like...
You didn't love the immortal crab person?
Well, so he was like, I'm immortal. And I was like, okay, who else do we know who's immortal? And I was like, what if it was the blue guy from interlude, insert number here, who saw the big ocean spren guy, but he wasn't made of crabs?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, then they can't be brothers, because he said siblings, and I was like, oh, but no. Unless he's perfected how to make his crabs have no seams. But I don't know why one of them would be able to and the other one not. But that was my first connection. And I was like, okay, immortal people, maybe these two are related somehow. But that guy didn't have crabs, so I don't know.
Oh, no, this is just random shit that Brandon Sanderson's tossing in to make the audience go, oh, what is this and where's it going to go?
For fun.
Is it relevant to the plot of this book at all? Not really. It's cool. It's like a fun moment that I thought was going to be like way more relevant. But it was like, oh, okay, no. Oh, yeah, sure. All right.
Mr. Krabs. Yes, it is Mr. Krabs. I think he will be relevant in, like, book 5 of Stormlight.
I think in book, like, 9.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Anyway, we start the book. The prologue we're not really going to talk about because we talked about it in... Words of Radiance.
Yeah, we already chatted about it. If there is anything, though, that we missed, feel free. We are doing questions next week for the full book recap.
Yeah.
And we will be taking questions for Edgedancer as well. So if that is something that you do want us to talk about, Discord questions channel.
Yeah. I don't think there's a lot of questions for next week. So get on it, people.
Oh.
We got to have stuff to talk about or else the show's going to be really boring. And I'm just going to cast Words of Radiance with the Muppets again.
Great. Love it.
So then, Lift, Ember Eye says my copy doesn't have the prologue, which explains why I was so confused the first time I read it. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think that one downside to the way Brandon Sanderson is putting out the Cosmere is it isn't really you need people to explain to you how to read it.
Yes.
Like,
you need a guide. And
I understand why that happens with comics sometimes because comic publication is weird, but this is a series where like the Cosmere, it's a little bit dense just to get into, and
yeah,
I don't know, you know what I mean?
Like you could pick up Mistborn and be totally fine.
But if you picked up Edgedancer because it's shorter and you want to get a vibe for the Cosmere, it's not going to make a lick of fucking sense, and it spoils everything else.
Well, you're kind of like, oh, Lift is a person who can like just who can remove friction and saved somebody who then became an emperor and
yeah.
Like that, like it starts in the weird, like middle of the, like without any context for it. Picking up Edgedancer and reading that first. You know what? If you did that, I want to know who you are. I want to talk. Who
read Edgedancer first and was like, what the fuck is what is happening in this novel?
Yeah, but like I've done that where I walk through a bookstore and I pick something up that looks kind of interesting.
Yeah, but 99% of novels in a bookstore, you don't need any context to get into.
But that's what I mean.
Right?
Like if I picked this up, like it is definitely possible that somebody picked this up first and was like, "What the fuck?" Like,
yeah. I mean, if you look up a publication order to find out which book in a series to read, then you have that's a guide, you guys. That's what that is a guide. Having to go to the internet to look up a publication order is a guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like having a complicated system like this leads to some really like incredible things, but definitely does not help out casual readers.
Yeah, well, and I think that it is. I think that for the Cosmere and the way Brandon Sanderson starts books, I actually think that there's a lot of fantasy authors who I think are very talented at writing individual books in a long series, where if you pick up book 3, the opening few chapters kind of get you up to speed and get everything you need to know going.
Sure, yeah. This is too big for that.
I don't think that Brandon Sanderson is good at that.
I
don't think that is like... I don't think it matters because that's not the kind of series he's writing.
And I don't even know if that's possible.
I just don't know if that is his skill set.
Yeah.
His books sort of just pick up where the last one left off. I don't think he does a lot of like building in sort of the context for the current book in the book. You really have to have read the previous book, and that's fine. I just was thinking about it a lot with Edgedancer, where I was like, if I picked this up because I liked the cover, and I was like, oh, I've heard of Brandon Sanderson, I'll read Edgedancer. I think that this book would have been a like miserable experience.
Well, and if you pick up a version of the book that doesn't have the interlude chapter, you have no idea like that Lift can take in Stormlight through eating and not like sucking it in. Like that's not really explained at all outside of that one interlude.
But again,
chapter.
Like it doesn't matter because it's not the kind of series he's writing, right? Like it's not this isn't a real criticism. It was just a funny thought when I was reading this book where I was like, what would someone who hasn't read Stormlight Archive suddenly be like, what is a shard blade? What is happening?
Yeah.
Why are eyes getting burnt out? What like actually what is happening in this novel?
Yeah. No, I think that's absolutely fair. But yeah, it's not really a criticism. It's just like this is the kind of storytelling that we're doing with this series.
It's an expectation of a lot of audience buy-in. And for Brandon Sanderson, it doesn't matter because he has that audience buy-in, right? Like at the end of the day, like
he has the trust. He No, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. Like
yeah. Roland Boisa, I don't know how to pronounce that last name, says that is purposeful. He was saying Q&As earlier that since it's so easy to look things up on the internet, he doesn't want to have the Watt style first 100 pages referring to previous books, which I appreciate because honestly, the Wheel of Time version of it is awful. Robert Jordan is really bad about it.
The recap stuff.
God, those and look, I complained about the interminable recaps too. So I don't know if I'm really complaining about either of them. I don't know where I fall on it. I think that I prefer the Cosmere version.
Yeah.
But I am also I'm the person who will look up the reading order for anything I pick up, right?
Yeah.
But I think that if you aren't Brandon Sanderson, like capital BS Brandon Sanderson, I don't think you can pull this off as easily.
Sure,
right?
Yeah.
And so it's sort of a privilege afforded to him because of the size of author that he is to be able to not do that.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that the majority, the point that I'm making is the majority of authors can't do this, but Brandon Sanderson can.
Yeah, he has the trust and goodwill of his community, which I think says a lot about like what he's been able to do with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we get into the actual Edgedancer?
Yeah, so we catch up with Lift. So basically, in the essay, I forgot, we learned that the surge that is allowing Lift to do what she does is a surge that gives her control over surface tension, which is how she becomes slick, right? So like gravity, all of the surges have something to do with some sort of physical like force or like physics idea,
sure.
Except for healing. I don't know how that one ties in.
Regeneration.
Sure.
Cellular regeneration.
I think that it has to be
it's stem cells. Guys, it's just stem cells.
Oh my God, don't say that. The Mormon Church will get mad at Brandon Sanderson again. Actually, I don't know what the Mormons' take on stem cells is. I'm
Sure.
assuming it's anti, but
I have no idea.
James Mack, thank you for joining the Nerds Radiant. It would be like watching A New Hope first. Crazy. Nope, that's not how that would work.
Reading Edgedancer? I don't.
A New Hope is really, really solidly contained single film.
Yeah, like
You can,
yeah. You could just watch that by itself.
If you watched Empire Strikes Back first, I think you'd be very confused.
Sure. Or if you watch like the Clone Wars, you'd be like,
The animated show?
Sorry, Attack of the Clones.
Oh,
You'd be
Attack of
like,
the Clones. No, Attack of the
okay.
Clones is pretty solidly contained.
You think so?
Yeah, because
I don't know about that.
starts with
Anakin.
It starts with the 10-year jump for Anakin. And
That's
so
true. There is like
the opening elevator ride where they're going up to Padme's apartment. They kind of explain everything you need to know to understand that movie.
Yeah, okay.
You get like the opening like assassination attempt, which is the mystery, and then Anakin and Obi-Wan ride the elevator and just sort of explain their relationship, what's going on, why they're here.
That's fair.
I think that Attack of the Clones actually has a really you could start with Attack of the Clones, and a lot of people do because they can't watch Jar Jar, and so that's like the first movie they watch when they do a binge of the 3.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Lift is running, using her slick to like really just fucking book it through a field outside of Azamir.
Yeah.
She left because they were very nice to her.
Yeah. She's
and
like,
she doesn't
fuck
trust
those
it.
people. I can't have anyone expecting me to be a person.
They wanted me to learn how to read.
Yeah. Fuck those bitches.
Yeah, they were going to give me all the food I could possibly want, which maybe was good because I'm using my superpowers to malnourish myself, and I have magic, not anemia. What's the fucking, when you don't eat?
Anorexia?
Yeah.
No, that's just not eating. She eats a lot.
Sure, but she's still like, she's going to have the same symptoms of anorexia regardless, right?
Oh, like underdevelopment?
Yeah. Well, that's what Wendell's concerned about, is that she's
malnutrition. Yeah,
like, she has magic anorexia, where her magic powers are consuming all of her nutrients, and so her body isn't getting the nutrients.
Oh my god.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah, it's I think like anorexia is very much like tied into like a body dysmorphia thing, which she doesn't have. But
it doesn't need to be, though.
Yeah,
the physical effects.
Bulimia, though, is that your body rejects food because.
Well, no, but a lot of bulimics force themselves to throw up. They're
you
not
do it
rejecting
first.
food.
No, you do it first, and then it becomes like when you become fully bulimic, your body it ejects the nutrients that you try and put into it, which it doesn't do. She uses them.
But the physical effects of bulimia she's not going to experience because she's not having the like. A lot of the physical effects of bulimia come from the constant vomiting and the like acid in the throat and the teeth.
Yeah.
She's not going to be suffering from that. She will have the physical after effects of anorexia.
Yeah, it's mostly just
malnutrition.
And yeah.
But long term, it will fuck up her heart, right? Which is the danger of anorexia. Is that and that's what killed a person in my life. And so she's going to be physically. Her body will physically resemble that of anorexia, in the after effects of it.
Although, interestingly enough, does the healing power that she has negate that?
No, because Wendell says that it's a problem.
He's worried about it.
Yeah.
But they've never seen this before.
Juna Canizers, thank you so much for that super chat. Liv's powers could be a lot more badass if she wasn't 13 and took the time to understand what she was actually doing, but she stumbles a lot.
She definitely falls.
I don't know, it's pretty badass as is. I don't know that it could be more badass. She runs from the entire city guard. She's basically Aladdin for half of this thing.
Kind of, yeah.
She manages to talk down a crazy herald. We'll get to it. It's pretty good.
Sure, yeah.
Blue's right. I'm not saying that she has anorexia. I am saying that the long-term effects on her body will be most similar to the long-term effects of anorexia. I understand that she eats a lot of food. That's not the point I'm making. She's not anorexic, but the effects that anorexia has on the body will be the effects that she feels long-term. versus bulimia, which does different things to your body because it like you can like vomit so much that you end up breaking your ribs. Like she's not going to have those parts of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just malnutrition. The healing aspect of it though is weird. Like I genuinely wonder, because this is something that has never happened before, if it will affect like the long-term negative effects, will those be negated by the fact that her body can just heal itself? Or will her body not know how to go through puberty because it maybe isn't?
Oh my god. That's so fucking dark. No. Okay. So, childhood anorexia can push back your puberty.
Yeah.
Lift asked cultivation to not change. And so cultivation gave her magic powers that make her so anorexic that she won't go through puberty.
I think that calling it anorexia is not appropriate. I think we should just call it malnutrition.
Fine, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. The point is the same.
Yeah, maybe
she didn't want to change, and so cultivation, rather than just like force her to stay the same, gave her a power that will fuck up her body's ability to go through puberty.
To go through puberty, yeah.
Brandon Sanderson, what the fuck?
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Damn. I didn't think that it was because of cultivation, but now, like, it kind of would make sense. And cultivation does some fucked up shit, right? You have to give away something to get something. And we know that, Lyft has done this exchange. So, maybe? Because here's the thing. You clearly can't stop it fully, completely. Especially from a god called cultivation.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that it would even have the power to literally stop time in its tracks. They are the essential, almost opposite of that.
Yeah. People are saying that she got her first period.
Yeah.
You can, like... She might have gotten her period. I don't... This is such a random conversation. But...
No, she does. It's mentioned.
The physical changes of puberty might still not hit her, right? In the same way.
Yeah, it is possible. And just because you get your first one, like, it can stop. Like, it is really kind of fucked up to think about. I didn't make the connection that maybe it came directly from cultivation, but that is wild.
Woof. Okay, so she's running.
That is
wild. Wendell really wants to go back because he is cultivating a garden of chairs. And he has a plan for an expansion to his garden that's just going to be a bunch of boots.
Love that. Chairs and boots.
Wendell and I would not be friends.
Boots and chairs and boots and chairs.
Yeah. And so Lift gets to a city called Yeda, which is cut out of the ground by shard blades, which...
That would have taken so long.
So long.
I'm imagining...
Like, just so long.
Here's the thing. I'm imagining it's more like shard bulldozers because, like, how the fuck... Like, seriously, though.
How would there be shard bulldozers? Please explain this to us. I'm so curious.
Well, if a spren can become any shape, they can become a fucking
Only
bulldozer.
Only if there are radiants, but no one recently has been a radiant.
A long time ago.
No, Yeda's new. This city's recent.
Oh, is it? What?
Yeah, this city is only in, like, the last... Like, the last 100 years.
Okay, I definitely missed that part.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just like, spren can be anything, so maybe they were bulldozers. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Yeda is new. But here's the thing.
Alright, fine, I'm wrong.
We watched on page Dalinar motherfucking Colin break his back trying to dig out a fucking latrine. How many shard blades does Azimir have? No, but it took hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so how many shard blades does Azimir have?
That is true.
And how many people working around when the city description started to happen, I was like, God, this is such a cool idea.
Don't think about
it. Fucking world is this possible? They would have had to have been running those shard blades. Because maybe they've got 4 of them?
They actually, like, rented all of the Alethi shard blades. That's how, like, economically they were able to give the Alethi work. And it was very prosperous time 100 years ago for everybody.
It just would have taken... It would have taken so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, unless you had, like, 100 people doing it. Like, you know, if Dalinar can do a latrine in an afternoon, then... I don't know. This is what I'm saying. It was actually shard bulldozers, okay? Fucking sue me, alright?
The description of this, like, I was sitting there like, fucking what?
Yeah.
It's cool. The idea is so cool though that I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely fine with it. But goddamn, was I sitting listening to it being like,
You're like, how much cost would it rent per hour to have the shard blades from Alethi?
Did it only take? Is it only 100 years old because it took the previous 3,000 years to pull off?
Maybe.
They get into line. Wendell, we start talking about the Everstorm. A thing that definitely will make sense to you if this is the first book you're reading in the series. And
fair. Fair. There's storms, but this storm is going the wrong direction?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy. So they're talking about why they're here. And Lift announces to Wendell that she is here to eat all 10 of the pancakes. Because they make 10 pancakes during the weeping. And she wants to try each one. They're really just Hot Pockets. They get them from the frozen section. They are not good for you.
They don't have freezers.
Oh my god, wait. So, okay, if Lift lives long enough for them to have processed foods, do you think that she would get less Stormlight from processed foods than from, like, natural foods? Like, do you think the preservatives would, like, block her from getting as much Shardblade out of the same number of calories?
No, I'm assuming it is just based on caloric intake. Like, if you ate, like, fucking...
So you're saying that, like...
a whole tub of peanut butter, that would be so much Stormlight.
Right, but, like, if you go to McDonald's, how much Stormlight are you actually getting from it? You know what I mean?
Is it about calories, or is it about it being food?
I'm just saying,
because you can eat things that we don't consider food, but get calories from them.
If you are eating food that your body can't process, like corn, do you get less corn? Do you get less Stormlight from corn because your body can't break down the cellulose? It's cellulose you can't break down, right?
Fuck if I know. All I know is that corn is hard for some people to digest.
Yeah. Yeah, like, does Lift have to
and that
choose
popping it makes it better.
What fast food restaurant she's stealing from based on the quality of the food to get more Stormlight out of it? These are the real questions, you guys.
Yeah.
These, like, does Wendy's, because it doesn't freeze its beef, give you more Stormlight than McDonald's because it does? This is the stuff I want to know in a word of Brandon Sanderson.
Fresh versus frozen. And does A&W give you more Stormlight because there's no antibiotics?
Oh, that's a good point.
I'm just saying.
She doesn't need the antibiotics.
No.
She's got cultivation
Nobody
on her
does.
side. Okay, I'm going to tweet at Brandon really fast. Here, Clark, you talk about the book.
Oh my god. Does Lift get more Stormlight from McDonald's or from Wendy's because they don't freeze their patties? What a fucking question. I don't know if Brandon Sanderson does Twitter really, but you know what? I invited Brandon Sanderson to come play on Heroes Without Borders in a tweet, and I never heard back, unfortunately. We shall see. Someone was like, go, he's active on Reddit, but I think that they get, like, mad if you try and, like, use Reddit to get Brandon Sanderson's attention.
I think that was more for a charity thing. I think that answering questions about the world isn't as much as us being like, hey, do you want to come help us raise money? Yeah.
I don't know.
We're looking for Stormlight from...
Someone clip this and send it to him. Yeah, so, look, the city, very cool. Love that. Everstorm, definitely gonna be a problem. Wendell's like, I don't know, there's something funky going on. Excuse me. Liv sneaks towards the entrance. And she, jumps into somebody's grain. Who, like, we get a shift of POV from, like, the guard captain who's, like, sus of this guy who's, like, got all this grain because he doesn't look like a farmer. And, you know, maybe she's probably right. Who knows? But Lift tries to sneak into the city, into this wagon of just raw grain that she starts eating, which is kind of nasty. I can't say I've ever tried to eat raw grain before, and that sounds unpleasant. Joe White, thank you for that super chat. I'm a little behind it. I'm assuming Lift's physical structure is slowly being reconstructed from Stormlight. Yeah, maybe Maybe, but like, what is the rate of recovery? Like, I don't know. I am genuinely curious. I've eaten just corn kernels. Like from popcorn? Yeah, I guess I've done that. But
Hey, Brandon Sanderson. Would Lyft get less Stormlight from modern processed foods than she would cleaner meals? Like, would McDonald's give her less power than Shake Shack? That's the tweet. Go retweet it, please.
Shake Shack?
Yeah, it's healthier.
Is it?
I think so. I don't know. Joe White, thank you for that super chat. I'm a little behind, but I've been assuming that Lyft's physical structure is... I know you read it, but I wasn't paying attention because I was typing. Is slowly being reconstructed from Stormlight. Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem like it. Like, Window does seem concerned.
Yeah, and also she does act like she's 9.
Yeah.
So,
but that's also... She's this 14-and-a-half-year-old with no education. Right? And I think that it's a level of education problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is mayonnaise an investiture? Mayonnaise is disgusting.
Yeah, I hate mayonnaise. I will not eat anything that contains mayonnaise.
My mother consumes more mayonnaise than the average person, so... There's a wob from a book signing in Chicago? What?
What's a wob?
Oh, Word of Brandon.
Oh.
It's when he retcons stuff, but doesn't put it in a book.
It's not retconning. It's just little extra tidbits for y'all crazy motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I say just to...
No, mayonnaise makes me want to gag. Like, genuinely, I cannot... I don't know how you guys eat it.
No, I hear you.
Sorry. I'm so judgmental. I'm so sorry.
We are all used to you being very judgmental.
But I don't really like a lot of sauce. Like, I don't really do sauce.
Yeah.
Cheese is the greatest condiment. Actually, false. Maple syrup is the greatest condiment, but cheese close second. Cheese is
not a condiment.
You know what? Not with that attitude.
No. Guys, cheese is not a condiment.
Cheese is its own food group.
Real clear here. Cheese is not that's not what condiments are.
That's why maple syrup is the ultimate condiment.
From Brandon Sanderson, we metabolize food into sugar. She can metabolize it into investiture. Does that make sense? No, because yes, obviously it makes sense. But does McDonald's process well? You know what I mean? Into Stormlight, or is all the fake shit in McDonald's food processing into like odium light?
If it can be processed into sugar, then I guess it can be processed into investiture.
Yeah,
so depending
but
on
how much gunk is in all that? You know what I mean? How much of that shit's actually getting processed into food and how much is just going straight to the pooper?
You have to like study somebody to see like how much of it gets processed.
Does anyone... We need to move on. This is so dumb. I'm so invested in this though.
Have you ever eaten raw grain?
Raw grain, yes I have.
Oh, is it disgusting?
Yeah. I mean, have you ever eaten cardboard?
No.
Yeah, it's like chewing through cardboard.
Eaten paper, but not cardboard.
Why?
I was a child with ADHD. Like, I don't fucking know.
What does that have to do with it?
Just chew on paper.
Oh. Like, just like in class, you just be sitting there.
Sometimes.
Were you bullied for that?
No. I was never bullied in my life.
That explains a lot, actually.
I was friends with everybody.
That explains our very different takes on the world. So anyway, we meet Haka. Haka is a girl on TikTok who to a spit on that thing. Every time they're like, yeah, it's Captain Haka. I was like,
Haktua!
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, Haktua made it into fucking Brandon Sanderson? What?
Damn, she real famous.
And she's inspecting grain at the front of the city, and she is a fucking Sherlock Holmesian character who realizes that this guy, because he has nice boots, went across the border into a war zone and stole a bunch of grain, I guess, threw it in a cart, came here, is trying to sell it. And so rather than arrest him, she is charging him more tariffs because you know what the government does when they don't want to have to deal?
Look, you tax stuff. Yeah, why not?
Fucking government.
Hey, it makes sense to me.
Fucking.
She's like, it's not
government wants my money.
It's not worth trying to like go through the whole legal process. They settled. It did a settlement basically.
No, a settlement would be with the person that he harmed. This is not a settlement. This is taxes. This is corruption at the government level. This is why we need anarchy.
It's not worth it to go through the legal processes of all of this and trying to get proof and whatnot. So just pay us.
And so she takes the butt of her spear and starts poking around. Eventually finds Lift. And then Lift decides to become the world's greatest nuisance. She's eating that raw grain. She bops out, runs into the fucking guardhouse.
Yeah.
And guess what, you guys? She has the first pancake. We're 1 pancake out of 10.
She gets a pancake and she makes it fucking rain.
Let's go.
Rain. Literally just all over people.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not understand the geography of this at all.
Okay, me neither, and I thought it was my thing where I'm not able to visualize it all.
Where is this hill? Where is this cart?
Had
Where
no
is
idea.
this gate?
And I thought it was me, so I feel a little bit better.
How did we get the cart through the gate to the edge of a cliff? There was definitely... I listened to this twice and I went, I'm gonna move on. It happened.
Yeah, we do. We need a pancake counter.
I was
like up here, just a little thing.
Is there just a fucking
pancake.
cliff on the inside of this gate right there? That seems incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, man.
There's no fucking railing. And so Lift gets some power back from the pancake, and she rides the grain down into the city down below.
One jump out of the bread line.
And the people down below are grateful as they gather up the grain and are like, yay, we can eat. This never gets explored again. This book does a weird thing where it like constantly tells you that the majority of the people in this city are like very impoverished. And I gotta ask why. I mean, there's like multiple slums.
Yeah, I just thought it was a big city, and that Lift in particular was spending time in the poorer parts of the city. Like, it wasn't...
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
It just... I was like...
Wow, this city sucks.
There's a real inequality issue in this city, and it seems like they have money.
Yeah, I think
it seemed like the city had too much wealth to be dealing with this level. I was like...
No, I think it's that Lift specifically spends her time in the slums and at the orphanage, and then it's like where she is actually like...
I just kept waiting. Once we got to the span read to Gox, I really expected Lift to kind of push this city to push some of their resources towards all of these poor people that she's around all the time. And because it doesn't seem like there's like soup kitchens or anything like that. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of ways. Lift's inability to get food was surprising to me, considering there doesn't seem like a program to take care of all the
Well, I think that there recently is like a huge influx of refugees.
Yeah, and so that's probably what it is.
So it probably exacerbates it, like it makes it seem way more than it is on its like usual days.
It seemed like this book was going to be about that more.
Yeah.
And I thought that Lift being around them the whole time was going to come back at the end of the book, but she just kind of like gets what she wants and dips out of the city, and I was like, oh, I guess...
She pulls a Vivenna.
It's only because it's brought up so much in the book that I thought the end of the book was going to somehow be about Lift having experienced all of these people's, like... She drops in on the family who live in a hovel eating the grain that she dropped in on them. Obviously, the orphanage stuff. There's so much in this book about Lift experiencing all of these people who are impoverished. Mm-hmm. And then it isn't a part of the end of the novel in any way. And so that was why it was weird to me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's unrealistic for City to have this. I totally get that.
It
just seemed like
relevant.
The book was about her.
Yeah.
And her whole power is like giving a voice to the voiceless and remembering the people who are forgotten.
Well,
and so at the end of the book, when it never comes back around to all of the impoverished, it kind of reminded me of Warbreaker, right? Where she like experiences all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And she sees all these people struggling, and then at the end of the book is like, chip, chip, cheerio, I gotta get out of town.
I honestly think that she thinks she can do the most back with Gox and the Emperor. Like I think she makes that realization, right? Yeah. And so I think that this is the setup for her later stuff when she does jump into like the Stormlight Archive as a chapter character and not an interlude character.
Sure. I honestly thought, I didn't think it was going to be a huge thing. I just thought there was going to be a section of the span read section.
Yeah.
Where there was just sort of like any sort of push for because she's suddenly given all this power in the city, and I thought there was just going to be a little bit about her pushing resources towards those people. It could have been like 3 sentences, you know what I mean? So it seemed like the book was pulling her towards her suit. It felt a little bit like the book was using all of this poverty to pull her towards her superpowers. And they did that side of it, but didn't do the like actual her caring about other people side of it. They do the like, I'm going to remember that you're struggling. And that's kind of what she says is like, I'm gonna remember you as you die. But we didn't get around to the like, what is the like actionable next step for Lift as a character to do when she has all this power over the city watcher.
I don't think she has the maturity to realize that it is something to be fixed yet. Like, she is like, I am a street urchin. I steal. Mm-hmm. I deliberately left my money behind because I don't want to have to deal with that. I'm just going to take what I want. Like, she doesn't seem to have the mindset yet of asking for resources to try and help people. She's just like, no, these people live their lives as poor people, and that's how this is. Like, it doesn't, like, I just don't think that she has the development yet to put those 2 and 2 together.
I want to push back against that, though, because I think that there are incredible youths. There's stories all the time of incredible youths doing so much for their communities because they experience poverty. And they are the ones who are able to give a voice in amazing ways.
What do you mean by youths? Like
10-year-olds? 11, 12-year-old people. There's news stories all the time about these kids who do amazing things for their communities because they know the struggle that the people around them are going through. And when they do have this like pop of a moment, they are able to bring awareness to the struggle because they've experienced it.
I think that comes from a place of education, though, right? Like, if you can understand how economy works and how, like, the government is structured and how to raise money for a cause and stuff like that, or you have parents who are able to help influence, okay, you want to do something positive, here's how to direct your energies. I just think that Lift has nobody and doesn't understand how the world works.
Oh, and I agree with you, right? Yeah. Like, I don't disagree with that at all.
Like, she's trying to save lives, but
it felt for so much of this novella like that was where it was going.
Right.
Because we kept coming back
surprised that it didn't.
It's like Lift stumbles into this hovel where this family's struggling, and then Lift like pops grain on all these people are grateful because grain fell from the sky because they're starving, and it felt like the book kept bringing Lift back to this idea, and so, you know, when a writer circles back to an idea over and over and over again in a book, I expect there to be a payoff to all of that like build up for the character. It's the same feeling I have about Warbreaker, where Brandon Sanderson explores Vivenna, or is it? Yeah, it is Vivenna. Vivenna experiencing her people's struggle throughout the whole book.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the book, she fucks off.
Yeah.
And this kind of had a similar feeling to me, where she experiences so many different people's poverty, and then at the end of the book, she just kind of leaves, even though she has the power to do something about it in the span read scenes.
Well, I don't know about the span read scenes. Sure, I understand, but she does like kind of full come around and realize that she's going back to the Emperor because she can actually like help people that way.
Yeah, Titanic Springs is a good point. It kind of looks like Lift does good by accident, and I agree with that.
And she does. Oh, she absolutely 100% does. But I think that's why the moment at the end where she makes the active choice to go back to the Emperor, like, I think that is the shift, and then we're gonna see like what that means for her later on. Right?
Are we though? And this is where I get a little bit nervous about this series.
Coming into the series.
Yeah.
I thought that was the point, right?
Yeah. I think that where does Lift's story go from here with where if she gets pulled into the main story?
Which I thought that she did. I thought that Brandon Sanderson was writing this because...
No, he is. I'm saying that the Oathbringer on, the problems for those people are going to be so large.
There's a storm coming from the wrong way, and the Voidbringer's going to murder you all.
I feel like these books from here on out can just sort of ignore a lot of the issues that are brought up in the first 2 books because they aren't going to be as relevant anymore, right? Like, I don't mean that as a negative. Maybe. I just mean that, like, I want these books to get more into the Light Eyes, Dark Eyes racism. Will the characters have time to do that when they're trying to survive the Everstorm, right? Like, at what point...
Priorities.
It is the question of, like, at what point during a zombie apocalypse does racism stop mattering?
Right.
Because there is a point, right? There is a point where people will just be like, this doesn't fucking matter anymore.
Sure.
The most racist people will get over it because we have to survive.
Yeah.
Right? And at what point in the Everstorm do all of the societal kind of building blocks of Alethi culture and Azish culture and Reshi culture, at what point do those collapse? Because it is truly just about surviving the demonic parshmen coming and killing everybody.
Yeah.
Right? The people who can survive the storm and break into your bunkers in the middle of the storm because they're not affected by it.
Yeah.
There is that sort of element of the series where all of these things have been introduced where I could see at some point near the end of Oathbringer them being like, why did we ever care about Dark Eyes, Light Eyes? We're all dying.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that there's an interesting story there, and I wonder how Brandon Sanderson is going to explore that. Are we going to keep telling this caste story where there's all levels to society, or does that sort of get eschewed out of the narrative because the apocalypse is so bad that people just kind of don't give a shit anymore?
Well, I think
and it becomes Radiance and everybody and the people the Radiance are protecting.
Yeah, I have a feeling, if I were to guess, knowing that it is 10 very long books, I think it does come full circle. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that there will be, at some point, a total collapse, right? I think there will be a point where those things can't matter, and then in the rebuilding and the trying to save humanity, realize, like, the wrongs that were done, and the ways in which society failed people. Yeah. And I think that, like, knowing that this is a very long-term thing, like, I think that the series has room for all of that, and I hope that it does kind of come around full circle.
And Bryce brings up a point that I think is interesting. I mean, you say she does good by accident. They say she followed darkness because she knew he was going to hurt someone. She acts like she's doing it accidentally, but she's very much taking intentional actions. The only pushback I have against that, and I do agree with you, is that she is intentionally doing it because it is someone like her, and it's like she's after because it has something to do with Radiance, and I would like to see her get together with the other Radiants and get pushed towards helping other people more than other Radiants, right? I want Lift to get to a point where she feels less lonely so that she can do more good because she has the most power out of everyone, right? Lift is the most powerful character in this series, who isn't like a herald or a god or an immortal crab man, because she can create stormlight during a weeping. And so I think that her being, right now she's acting from a place of loneliness, and I think that if we can get her to not be lonely, her powers will be very helpful in the coming, multi-apocalypse that's happening.
Yeah. Bridge 4 says, I hear you, but I'd love you to look at India. A lot of Hindu and Muslims did come together to defeat British colonialism, but that conflict didn't really overcome the issues Hindus and Muslims had. Which that is definitely like a very complicated real world thing. Yeah. But I think that it is a thing that stems specifically from religion, which is what Brandon Sanderson is really good at kind of dismantling, especially because in this world, God is dead. Well, and people are going to find that out, and that is going to change a lot of people's perspective in, like, the Stormlight Archive.
Yeah, I would also say that, like, the issues between the Hindus and Muslims in India is one that was inflamed by the British, as well as being, like, a lot of the problems in India you can also blame on the British. You know what I mean? Like, they really did a number on the world.
Truly.
but in that case in particular, like, I believe that the post-apocalypse on Roshar will go back to a lot of these problems. I think that there are a lot of Light Eyes who will be less racist towards the Dark Eyes during the apocalypse than they will be after, right? I think that there's a lot of Light Eye people, if they survive, will expect to go back to being the top of society after they survive whatever the problems are. Yeah. And that will lead to the sort of issues that we see in a lot of places around the world that go through something truly, like, nationally traumatic, bond together briefly, and then, I mean, you could say the same thing about America post 9/11, right? There is a brief window post 9/11 where it truly felt like America was this like place where we fucking loved each other.
Yeah.
Right? It was a place of unity and bonds, and here we are 23 years later, and
it's worse than it's ever been.
There's this schism down the middle of the country. Not physically, obviously. There is one. It's the Grand Canyon. It's not quite in the middle, but it's off to the left a little. But there's this divide down the middle of the United States, 23 years post 9/11, where it does not feel like America could ever be a united country ever again, right? Like the gulf in these states is so vast that some people are willing to vote for Donald Trump.
Crazy.
They're eating the dogs. And so we're in this, I think that I am not saying that the apocalypse can solve racism. I'm saying that in the momentary, like we are currently in the apocalypse, can get people to let their guard down on some of their prejudices because they want to survive. It's almost a defense mechanism. Whereas in the aftermath, things will go back to being bad.
Yeah. And that's what I mean about it, like, being this epic, huge, long, epic story, that we can have those moments of where those barriers break down, but then where people try to build them back up again. And how do our characters react to that? Like, I think that's going to be where the real interesting choices are made, in terms of how Roshar, like, comes back again. And maybe it won't, maybe this is all a tragedy and Roshar just all dies.
I love, Sir Jimmera says, people forgot how to argue, and to be honest, the left is more at fault. Nope, you can't argue with people who just lie. You can't argue with people who just believe in falsehoods.
Yeah.
I don't know how to tell you this, Sir Jimmera, I'm so sorry. But, like...
You said you weren't going to fact check.
They don't...
You said you weren't going to fact check
excuse me, the rules were that you weren't allowed to fact check?
God damn.
I was told that I would be allowed to say whatever the fuck I wanted to up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Incredible.
When the Republican vice presidential candidate is on Fox News saying, I will make up whatever story I need to get my point across, one side is doing it worse than the other. I'm so sorry. Anyway, we need to move on. I don't want to talk too much politics.
Yeah.
But like, God, do I hate JD Vance.
Yeah, what a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah. So Lift starts moving about town. She's got to figure out a way to eat, so she finds an orphanage.
Yep.
Where...
Well, she has a really unintelligible conversation with somebody who tells her where to look. And I you know what? I'm glad that I was with Wendell here and that I got it kind of explained afterwards. And he's like, how did you know what she was saying? And she's like, I don't know, it just felt right. I was like, okay, that's a cool trick, I guess. I feel like that has to be a Radiant thing. Can she just understand every language?
Like,
if she is the one who remembers people, does she just get a like magical understanding of every language?
I don't think that this is I don't think this is about a language thing, right? I think it's about it being her being a street urchin and able to pick up on slang, on the kinds of ways in which like street urchins create slang. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Because she speaks the local language. Like, it's not like she learned Spanish.
Oh my God, pancakes.
Oh my God, can we drop pancakes instead of popcorn for this book?
Yeah, I love that. And maybe it is that.
I think it's more of a familiarity with
But she's never been to this country? That's why it just felt weird to me. I was like, oh, this has to be magic.
But she's been in this country for a while, and she's been on the road.
No,
like,
I thought she got there. I thought she had been here for like a couple of weeks, maybe.
No, but she's been working. She was working with a local thieving group in this country recently. Like, the idea that she hasn't heard slang in this country, in this empire, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that Lift. This just made sense to me because Lift is in the prologue in a city that is a walking distance away. She was working with a thieving guild.
Yeah.
Like, the idea that she has never heard the slang of this empire, it makes more sense to me that the slang of this empire is somewhat consistent than it is that that she has a magical ability to speak languages. I don't know that I would Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It feels very like I'm the person that remembers people. I don't know. It feels like thematically it would tie in.
None of the investitures that we have give you power over ideas. It's like
universal translator.
Yeah.
It's the TARDIS. She has a TARDIS, actually.
I think the languages of this world are very interesting to me because we don't have any evidence of like language barriers being a problem. Like everyone seems to speak the same language. Mostly. The Horn Eaters kind of have a different one. And I think there are other languages, but because of the way the books are written, we are not translator microbes. That's very funny. You've got like little microbes in your ears just like whispering like I just think I don't know. Because of the span reads and because like Yasna and Shallan speak to no problem, right? When the traders go to Shin in that interlude, there's not like a language barrier problem. The people in the Reshi Isles seem to have no problem speaking with the traders. It seems that wherever any of our characters go, everybody speaks the local language. And so we haven't really seen translators be a thing. And because of the interludes, we have people going around the world. It just doesn't seem like language barriers have really been a problem in this series.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
It was just an interesting idea.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like it more. I think it's more that I like it more as Lift's understanding of street urchins gives her this, rather than it being that she has the magical ability to speak languages. Because, like, how the fuck does that work? When, like, does it...
How the fuck does magic work?
No, I know, but, like, no, but my point is, does Lift need Stormlight to understand languages then? Like, is she burning Stormlight whenever someone speaks to her in a language she doesn't know? Because the magic in this world has like a battery to it, right? There aren't any permanent magics.
Yeah.
And so is Lift like just like if she is out of Stormlight, does it become nonsense to her?
Maybe.
That's where it gets weird to me, right?
I don't know. She burns up her quad muscles. Like, I don't fucking know.
Oh my god.
She has a very like weak jaw because her jaw muscles fuel her like language interpreting skills. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she goes to the orphanage.
Yeah.
And we meet the Stump, which is no description. And she's like, "Fuck you, you're a piece of shit. You only get 3 meals."
Yeah.
Basically, there is a child who is dropped off who seems incapacitated, not aware, not able to take care of themselves. The mother like leaves them.
We skipped over a huge thing.
What?
The Wendell complains that he could have been a couple chapters before this.
Oh.
Wendell is like, "Oh my god, I almost was bonded to a cobbler who was really nice to kids." Was the cobbler not Radiant?
I thought the cobbler was a Radiant who used to have a Spren. I am so confused as to
Maybe
that reference.
he did used to have a Spren. Well, no, because Spren can't die. The cobbler thing was weird, right? Because I thought that he was like a Radiant. Mm-hmm. But now this...
He literally healed people.
He got another Spren? He got a different Spren.
Oh, I guess so Wendell draw like the short straw. Like it was almost Wendell and then they put him on a different assignment. Okay, that... Yeah.
Okay, this reference threw me through a fucking loop.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying. Great.
Because I got very confused. I was like, did his friend die and he was gonna get a new one, but then didn't get a new one because he died, and then
drew
Wendell.
The short Radiant. Yes, he literally drew the short Radiant, the child.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Anyway, so we meet Stump.
Yeah.
And we meet a young
orphanage.
man who's a little too who is not quick enough to help his family out, and so his mom drops him off and is like, "I don't want you, son."
To be fair, he is completely incapacitated and incapable of like being left alone. And so
yeah, it's pretty brutal to be like, "Son, I need you to go live with the Stump."
Yeah. It was a rough scene. Then there's a weird crab man sitting outside.
We don't know that yet, though.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
But there's a weird guy, and he's like, "Well, don't."
What part of the body are you, kid?
She's like, I'm a nose, you fucking weirdo.
Because the nose knows.
The nose, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So Liv goes back to the guardhouse.
Yes.
She follows the captain of the guard. Is like, Wendell, fucking wake me up if you see anything. Guess who shows up?
Wake me up!
Wake me up inside.
No, she follows the captain from the guardhouse to her house.
Sorry, to her house. Waits outside her house.
An apartment building.
Yeah, she gets a nice place to live probably because she works for the city. Good for her.
And who shows up?
Darkness.
I believe in a thing called love. This is the rhythm of my heart.
I mean with Hades, but you know what? We're gonna be in a house soon, so we won't have shared walls, and hopefully the neighbors never have to hear that again.
Really love the idea of the darkness.
The darkness?
Being the 80s band stalking around with a sharp blade.
God damn it. Yeah. Anyways, darkness shows up and is trying to hunt down.
I was trying to do that
Radiant.
as quietly. That's the quietest that I can sing those notes.
Yeah, no, yeah. I know. It could have been a lot louder, and I wish I was joking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, she tells Darkness her reports, I guess.
They were formed in the 2000s.
Like,
yeah.
Did she glow? She's like, well, I mean, I don't. Did she glow? Well, yeah, I'm not crazy. I swear. Like.
So I got a question for you. How is Darkness getting these fucking like written orders from local governments?
Intimidation.
You know what I mean?
I thought they were old things that were literally thousands of years old.
No, the position is old, but the written order is from the current prince. Like, what? How is he going into the prince? What is he telling the prince? I'm here to kill Radiance? It can't be that.
He's got some dirt. He's like, I'm here to stop the Voidbringers returning. You're gonna let me do whatever the fuck I want. We haven't met this prince, so I have literally no context for this.
Yeah, I just was like, how has the local government allowed for this? You know what I mean?
I
know. I just want to see the scene. I just want to see the scene of him like going up to the prince and being like, "I need jurisdiction in your country."
Yeah.
Right? Like it's so fascinating to me that the prince would be like, "Oh yeah, of course." Person who just showed up with a sharp blade and like.
That's what I mean. He's got some dirt, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, don't know who this prince is, so don't really have like context for that, but sure. We basically, what does she do right after she gets this information? Does she? No. She follows him. This is where she tails him through the marketplace, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're going through the marketplace. And Lift is following Darkness and notes that she usually has a pretty good, easy time of following people.
Yeah.
And
who's gonna stop him? The people like, who's gonna stop him? He probably reveals who he is. No, because the people would start, if someone started going around being like, I am the ancient herald, they would get locked up.
Well, yeah, especially because like the
like people would be like, oh, you're fucking
well.
This crazy person with a shard blade came in and maybe no, it goes back to the book, right? Like, what do you do with a person with a shard blade? They can just get out, right? So
we can't lock him up, so I guess we let him do whatever he wants to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I didn't think about it that way. Yeah.
Judah, thank you for that super chat. My best guess is that he's been alive for so long, so he's seen each society rise and know the ins and outs of each to navigate the bureaucracy. Well, he definitely like puts a high importance on society's laws. But my question is, does he follow society's laws even if he might think that they are wrong? Like if you find a society that has like crazy fucked up laws that differ from the laws that you are familiar with, do you then follow their laws because it's in their jurisdiction and you respect the law above all else, or do you respect what's right? Like the fact that like there's so much unknown here, and that his perspective has now changed by the end of this book I actually don't know if we're going to get any answers to this. Because by the end of the book, he's like, fuck it, I failed. So I don't know if we're going to really understand.
He has jurisdiction. I like Joseph's idea. He just has, like, jurisdiction from when the country was founded, and nobody's, like, people aren't checking the dates on his paperwork.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So Liv follows him through the streets. And there is a girl who tries to steal a basket of fruit. And the shopkeeper is like, hey, come back with that. And so Darkness grabs this thief.
Valshan, at last we see each other plain, Monsieur. And while he's singing this, he's just slowly pushing a shard blade through this little girl's chest.
I thought he pulled her onto the shard blade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monsieur Lemaire, you wear a different chain.
Yeah. No, I was like, this is dark.
Yeah, and everyone knows this girl's name too. Like, it's
what? No, they don't.
Yeah, One of the people on the street is like Techie, and
no. Lift says, "I will remember you, Techie," because she
someone
has
on the street,
a magic knowledge of people.
No, when the girl is getting killed, someone like shouts her name out, and it's like, oh my god, because everyone's like freaking the fuck out. Am I not right?
No, I literally thought that Lift knew her name magically and was like, Techie, I will remember you.
Yeah, no, one of the other street urchins who's like watching her die, screams out her name as she watches her friend get impaled by this fucking man who randomly shows up and just murder her.
Damn. Yeah, no, did I miss that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Damn. Well, yeah, so anyways, the shopkeeper is like, dude, was that necessary? Like, what the fuck? And Darkness is like, well, she drew a knife on me, and the punishment for that is death. And he's like, yeah, but, you could have just chopped her hand off or something. And he's like, nah, I've tried that, actually. It just makes people steal more. So we just murder them instead.
Jack says, should Nail be played by Russell Crowe? I'm pretty sure he's dark-skinned. But if he wasn't dark-skinned, Russell Crowe would nail it.
Honestly, yeah, as long as he doesn't have to sing.
Russell Crowe would nail it.
Yeah, as long as this is not a musical, then we are good.
And so she continues to follow him. Lift...
she tries to heal her.
Oh, that's right.
And is A, too late, B, it's a shardblade weapon, and C, does not have enough stormlight.
So this is a question I actually have. Does this book come out after the edit to Words of Radiance? Because this book makes it seem like it's really hard to heal people from shardblade wounds. Yeah. Okay, so the edit came first. Thank you, Victor. Mike Coulter as Darkness. Oh my god, he would be so good. Wait, Mike Coulter would be so good. Dude, I like that casting a lot. Because the healing from the Shardblade wound is a weird thing if he didn't make that edit. So then, it's really sad. She's trying to heal her. She can't heal the girl. It just kind of sucks. And so she basically keeps following him, and she breaks into his house, and she eats Darkness's breakfast. Because her whole goal is just to eat his food. But we're not leaving town because we got to eat his lunch. And his lunch, in this case, is not edible. I mean, I guess technically is edible if you're down for cannibalism. His lunch in this case is that we are going to find the person that he wants to kill, and we are going to save him first. And so Lift ends up going back to the orphanage. The Stump has basically promised her 3 meals. So she goes back and gets her second of 3 meals, which is this bread with a little bit of a paste in the middle bit for nutrition. Guys, a little bit of nutrition. And Mick is seemingly getting better. This previously concussed boy who was a little bit of a dum-dum is now talking. And Stump kind of yells at Lift and tells her to, when you leave, take the boy with you because he's faking his disability. Which is crazy. But we'll get to that later. Yeah. Lift goes over to Crabman, and is like, how do you know how to like make a decision? I'm not good at making decisions. And the Crabman's like, I don't know, man, just like do shit. What do you mean? And an unhelpful conversation later, Lift leaves and is like, all right, I'm gonna go do stuff. And Wendell at this point is starting to freak out. Wendell is a very funny spren, not quite pattern level, but I currently put Wendell a little bit above Syl. In terms of like my favorite spren, it goes pattern, obviously. Pattern's number 1.
Yeah.
Wendell's number 2 because I love Wendell. Wendell has a personality and desires of his own that I find interesting, and also is like being tormented by this child existing around him in a very funny way.
Yeah.
And then Syl is just Syl's a little pushy. You know what I mean? Syl's like, you have.
Syl has her own agenda.
Syl is like my way or the highway, but Syl doesn't actually want anything. And so right now, Syl's in last place. Syl, you got some work to do to climb that ladder.
She's still like A tier though. You know what I mean? Like.
I don't know, man. Sometimes Syl to me is like. Nah, Syl, you need your own personality.
But
Syl is a little high and mighty. Not gonna lie, Syl's a little my way or the highway. Kaladin, and Wendell is not. Wendell is.
So you just don't like women with strong personalities?
No, not at all. I don't like women in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. That makes sense then.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That's why you don't like Shallan. That's why you don't like Syl. That makes
I
sense.
do like Shallan a lot now. Shallan's pretty great now.
Because she is traumatized.
Yeah. Syl's not traumatized.
No, Shallan is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess at this point, Syl's probably traumatized.
Probably. She, like, very almost died. Maybe kind of died.
Yeah. Bridgewater says,
died?
but Syl has a really good heart, though. The problem is they all have really good hearts. All of the spren that we have seen are equally good, right? None of them are bad. Pattern, Wendell, and Syl all care deeply about the people like, they're bonded to.
The
so, like,
spren, yeah.
You can't use, like, but they have a good heart as a deciding factor, because none of them have a bad heart.
I don't think that the Storm spren who are possessing all the parchment.
No, I'm only talking about our Radiant spren right now. I guess the Stormfather would be in last place because he's a douche.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what?
Syl is above the Stormfather by a lot.
There you go.
There's the Stormfather's on the ground, which is weird because he's never on the ground. And then there's like a mile, and then there's Syl, and then there's a bump to Wendell, and then a bump to Pattern.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, no, Stormfather is dead last.
Also, is Pattern male? Like, Pattern could be a strong, independent woman of color, and you don't know that, so... Did you just squirt snot on that laugh?
I wouldn't phrase it like that, but something.
Did I just make you squirt snot? Oh my god. Guys, I got my wife to squirt on camera.
Damn, that's never happened before. I'm so proud of you. Well done. I can sell that on OnlyFans.
You can watch it for free on YouTube, or you can buy it.
Or you can buy it if you're a simp. Oh my god. All right. So we're back at the orphanage. Mike is better. And we have this conversation. Then Wendell is like, you should say more words, and she's like, I don't swear.
Yeah.
You motherfucker.
Well, and she says bollocks and jigger. And, like, jigger isn't a swear.
Isn't jigger like a dick?
No, jigger is, it's a measuring tool bartenders use.
Okay, but they don't have, that is not...
Well, no, but that's why I've never heard jigger used for anything other than the little measuring tool you use as a bartender. Right?
Maybe it's like a really old, like, British swear.
Maybe. Jigger is a British swear.
swear.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
The only way I've ever heard that word used is in a bar. It's the half ounce, 1 ounce sort of.
Lift can't read, so she probably thinks it's a swear. Yeah.
That's true.
I can see that.
Yeah, this sentence just confused me because jigger is just my understanding of what that is just a bartending tool.
I made a series of beanie hats that just have different swears on them.
Yeah.
And one of them says bollocks.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, go to Clarus's store for merch.clarus.com.
It's a fourth wall store.
I don't know. I can't remember what the art thing is.
I know it's like fourth wall dot com dash. I don't know.
And so
I don't know our merch store.
Lift decides that she's going to do something, and the way she's going to do that, she's going to get some information. And where do you go for information? The library.
Except she can't read.
And Wendell cannot read the entire. We do see that Wendell can read for her. Because Wendell, there is a point where Lift steals the Haktua's notebook. And Wendell, like, pushes his little vines into the book and then knows what it is. And, like, how the fuck is that reading? Guys, first of all, Wendell presents male. Wendell should not be reading, okay? Women read.
You know what?
This
Fair.
is bullshit.
Blasphemy.
Wendell should be embarrassed. But also... How?
What do you mean?
How is Wendell reading? Like, just how? He pushes vines into a closed book. How is he reading?
Maybe he can feel where the ink is, and it's like Braille.
Okay.
What?
No, it's gotta be that, right? Guys, I know it's a... Guys, it was a fucking joke, man.
No,
it was a
can,
joke.
Like, feel.
I know it's a boring thing.
So if paper is made out of plants,
it was a joke.
If paper is made out of plants and he is a plant, he can feel where the ink has been soaked into the plant, and then can feel where the ink is.
Paper is plants.
Paper is plants.
Paper's plants.
Yeah.
We figured it out.
There you go.
It's because paper is plants.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah. I was saying that maybe he like absorbs the book into the cognitive realm, and there he has a conversation with it, and he convinces the book to tell him what it knows.
Also great.
But he's like, I can't absorb the whole library to the cognitive realm and have a conversation with the library.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Paper is actually crabs. No, don't tell me that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah. So anyway, he can read. So he's like, I cannot read the whole library, and she's like, oh, well, that's a problem.
Well, get good.
So let's go in the front door, and we're going to just tell them that I have arrived.
First of all, she finds some clothes from somewhere. She probably steals them off of a laundry line.
This girl is a thief.
Yeah. She literally
Lift is a little thief.
Does not give a fuck.
Yeah.
So she walks in wearing someone else's clothes. Basically, like, just fucking shows up, just marches on in.
Yeah. And is like, hi, I have come from the Emperor. I need you to do a bunch of shit for me. And so they take her to the span read room and then leave her alone with the span reads that go to the entire world. And I was like, guys, what are we doing?
She can't write, so.
They don't know that. Do you know the panic that you could cause by being like, hey...
We're under attack, send reinforcements.
1,000%. I was...
No, she runs
They
there,
leave
right?
her alone in the... I know, but... They leave her alone with the span read to the Emperor. I just thought it was very funny that she finds herself alone in this room. Like, adults are like, it'll be fine. She can only communicate with anyone on the planet.
No, I thought it was specifically a span read to the Emperor.
No, she grabs that one and takes it to the desk in the middle of the room, plugs it in, and starts writing. Right?
But she runs there first. I thought she ran there and started writing, and then they showed up. And then they look at the paper, and they're like, oh, wait, she's right, because the Emperor starts writing back. Like, I didn't think that they grabbed her and put her in there. I thought they called the guards and then all chased her in there.
No. The guards come later.
Do they? No, I thought no, this is when they show up.
No, yeah.
This is when Haktua shows up.
Yeah, but this is in... No, but the guards show up after she's already written to the Emperor. And then the guards show up. And then as they're about to capture her, the Emperor writes back. But But first they leave her alone with the span read so that she can contact the Emperor, and then to go get the guards. So basically she's in the room with the span reads.
Yeah.
They leave her alone with the span reads. to go stand outside and have a conversation that she overhears. She overhears that they're not going to help her and to go get the guards. So then she goes to the span reed, picks it off the wall, puts it on the desk, and starts writing to the Emperor. While she's writing to the Emperor, Wendell has to, like, make the writing for her, and she has to, like, carbon copy it, or, like, try and figure out a way to, like, match what Wendell is writing for her. Yeah. Then the guards come back after she's already written to the Emperor. So they leave her alone with the span reeds that can get to the Emperor to go get the guard. They're like, we need to arrest this girl.
I thought they just put her in there to, like, keep her in a room.
I know, but it is the room with the international communication system. Hold up. Let's leave the child with the nuclear codes while we go off to get the cops to arrest the child that we left with the nuclear codes.
It's more like the portal that they put in New York to Ireland or whatever. You know?
At no point do they intentionally leave her? Yeah, they do. I'm confused then. Doesn't matter. Anyway, it's very funny.
Yeah, no, I thought that she, like, ran in there, wrote the note, and they, like, showed up with the guards.
No, she was left alone in the room by the woman. Because she's left alone in the room, but the woman leaves her in the room, steps outside.
To get the guards, yeah.
Yeah, and so... But she's still left alone in the room. I think I'm right here. The sequence of events, I'm pretty sure I'm correct on. She's having a normal conversation with the woman in this room. And the woman is like, yeah, sure, I definitely believe you. And then the woman steps outside and has a conversation that she overhears. She doesn't, like, run around. She's in a room with she's left alone in a room with the span reeds.
I mean, here's the thing. Even if Lift was able to write something, they're going to be back in 5 minutes. And if they see something written down, they can just be like, please ignore that. It was a child.
Yeah, I just found it funny. Am I not allowed to enjoy things?
No.
God
this
damn.
is the internet.
This is the problem. No one wants me to have any fun.
I just like that there's nuclear codes.
I'm just saying that, like, you could literally write anything. Turn the span reed off, put it back, and, like, crumple up the paper, and the span reed wouldn't write the response down because it would just be blinking on the wall. And so 20 minutes could pass where nobody knows what was said. Like, the amount of crazy shit.
What's the craziest thing she could have written down?
Anything.
No, I want to know.
The Emperor of Azir's dead. Put that.
Civil War.
Anyway.
She actually just writes down all of the spoilers to the most recent Marvel movie. Like, the Emperor's like, fuck, I was going to watch that.
So at the end of Joker, Folie à Deux.
We haven't seen it yet.
Anyway. So Hawk Tuah comes in and tries to capture her. And
but then Gox writes back.
And tells them that she is actually there from the Emperor, and so they need to do everything she says.
Yeah, if anything happens to her, they will have his wrath to deal with.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
And so what follows is a couple of chapters of Lift just kind of chowing down.
Yep, she gets her food.
Yeah. At some point in here, we didn't talk about it, but she found... she did follow Darkness into a room where he was talking to two apprentice Stormbreakers and Zeth.
I thought that was after this.
No, the first time she sees them is before this, because we skipped over, but Darkness was like, you have until tonight, and so that's why she ends up going here, and that's why there's the timeline on this where she's like, we only have a few hours.
Oh, that was around when she, like, followed him.
The two Stormbreakers don't really matter; they just kind of die randomly.
Thank you,
Skybreakers.
Yeah.
They don't matter; they die. But they're just killed kind of off screen. But Zeth does matter because Zeth is still Sag Boy, but his hair has grown in a little bit. He's no longer shaving every morning. So he kind of looks like Aang in season 3 of Avatar.
He also glows.
And he leaves an after image that was very reminiscent of Warbreaker, which is like, is he a returned? Because if he's a returned, it would make way more sense that he came back from death.
He died and came back.
Than him being healed by a Fabrial. But the book says that he's healed by a Fabrial, so if he is...
But it is just weird that they give him the sword from Warbreaker.
It's just sort of all retcon-y weird shit a little bit in this moment, and I don't think that it is actually a retcon, but it certainly felt like a weird retcon in this moment to me. And so if it does, if
Does
an
that mean
Oathbringer...
Zeth starts having, like, future dreams?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Nile stuff. We'll talk about it at the end.
Right,
Because I think the Nile stuff is a little bit too complicated right now for a couple of reasons, but we'll get to it once we're through the book.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So the Skybreakers are trying to find someone.
Yeah, there is another Radiant in the city, and Lift is like, oh, there's somebody like me.
But
so...
but specifically earlier, Zeth saw Lift and didn't tell Darkness.
Oh, I thought that
Everyone
was
else couldn't see her. No, that happened. That happens both times. Zeth saw her and like doesn't say anything about it, and she's like, "Oh, maybe he didn't see me, but he definitely did." And so the second time he talks to her, but the first time he just like looks over and she's like, "Oh my god, he saw me," and then he like just leaves. Yeah. So anyway, she engages the librarians to look for anything weird, and they're like, "That's crazy. We can't do that in 3 hours."
Yeah, normally we would take weeks for this, and she was like, "Well, you don't have that."
And so the Spanreeds start saying from the Emperor that, like, the Everstorm's coming, you have about 3 hours, get everyone inside, leave Parchment out to die in the storm, which is, like, actually not the thing to do. Take them inside where the Spren can't get to them, but, like, they don't know that. So it's going to be really bad because when they open their doors, the Parchment won't have died in the storm. They'll just have been turned into Storm Spren. They're doing the exact wrong thing because they don't know.
Classic.
And it's scary.
Yeah.
Weirdly... the book doesn't get into that.
No.
The storm comes.
I know. I thought that this book would literally end with, like, Parchment, like, fucking murdering people in the streets.
But the city's fine?
Yeah. Because it's not as powerful as a high storm, but it lasts longer.
Well, and so this city is uniquely built to deal with the Everstorm. Because the way this...
it's recessed into the ground.
Yeah, and so the storm always... the winds don't affect the city.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of water, but the whole city is built for water to get in and out.
Yeah.
And so the only things that are really damaging is the lightning. But the Parchment don't all go storm form in the Everstorm, which I thought was the whole thing. And the Emperor specifically says to leave the Parchment outside. So I thought...
we see them cowering outside.
Yeah.
Surrounded by the Spren.
So at the end of the book, when Lift is just like, well, the city's fine, I'm going to dip out, and isn't like, oh, the Parchment are randomly murdering people, I was very surprised.
Yeah.
I expected something else.
Maybe the Parchment just leave. Like, maybe they get, like, called towards the fucking beacon and they're all gonna amass. I don't know.
I mean, I guess they did leave. Actually, if you go to Words of Radiance, they're just gone. So maybe they get, like, carried away in the Everstorm?
Like, they fly away?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they can fly.
What?
Yeah, the Stormform can fly, right? Don't they have, like, the radiant powers of flight?
No. They can't even jump across the chasms.
The Stormform can.
No, I thought Warform was better at jumping across chasms. Stormform
of their original forms,
only...
but Stormform can jump... No, Stormform can jump even further. I'm pretty sure that Stormform is going to be able to fly.
I thought it was Warform that was better at jumping.
That is said before they have Stormform.
Are you sure? Because I thought that was, like, a bit of a problem, why they didn't just jump all the way across the plains. Is because they were worse at jumping. Stormform can't fly. Yeah. Yeah, like, I thought they could...
Okay, well then where did all the Parchment go at the end of this book? You know what I mean? Like
they ran away. I don't know.
But why would they? Yeah, Stormform can make chasm leaps without a running start. That's in the book. I'm right. They can. They're even better than Warform at jumping.
But they're not. No, they're not better.
Yes,
so
they are. They can do it without.
Warform can literally just hop across.
No, Warform needs to run.
Can run.
And Stormform can just jump. You have it backwards.
No, I thought that was the point. That was why they met the Alethi in the middle of the plains. And they didn't, like, go towards them. It's because they were like, we're actually worse at getting across the shattered plains.
No, they wanted the Alethi to be on the plains so that they could summon a high storm that would kill them. But if they summon the high storm too close to their camp, they were worried they were going to get home and be safe. So they wanted the Alethi to come all the way to the middle so that they could hit them with the high storm. They could summon the high storm that would do the most damage.
All right, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they just ran away. I have no idea.
Yeah, Warform needs a running start and Stormform doesn't. Yes. Okay. So the Parchment disappearing was weird to me, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, I don't know. I think they're going to be able to fly. We just haven't seen it yet, or something, or they like left with the storm somehow, or there's something because when the storms hit the Alethi on the Shattered Plains, the Parshendi are just all gone. Right? They all disappear. So they got to be somewhere.
What?
At the end of Forge of Radiance.
them.
Yeah, and then the storm comes and they're gone. They boop off to the Alethi boop off to Urithiru.
Yeah.
And when Kaladin and them are come back to the plains, all the Parshendi are gone. When the people who went to Urethra first come back down to like look for shit, the Parshendi are all gone. They don't encounter any Parshendi left.
Yeah, but I don't think that means that they flew.
Well, I don't know where they went, but
yeah.
So then Lift
I also thought most of them died, but
yeah. So Lift starts to follow the apprentices again as they realize that someone had previously hired the librarians to be already doing this, and that someone was Darkness and his minions.
Yep.
And so she manages to catch up with the apprentices and follows them. Zeth is just like chatting with Nightblood, having a gay old time. They're becoming best friends.
Besties.
And
Apparently,
then,
Nightblood really likes Lift.
Yeah, Nightblood does not want to hurt her. Nightblood is chill with Lift. I wonder if it's because she's kind of like Vivenna in some ways. If he's like, I like that Vivenna girl, and Lift is like a young Vivenna.
Maybe.
Yeah. And so they're like, do you want to come with us? And the apprentice is to Zeth. And he's like, no, I flew those winds before. And then they just fly away in the middle of a city.
Yeah.
Which, if your stated goal is to not bring back the Radiance, you might want to keep that kind of secret, right?
But everyone's inside because the storm's coming.
People have windows, and I think...
Which are closed against the storm.
But the storm is like an hour away at this point, right? I just feel like flying around this city if you're trying to keep rumors that the Radiants are coming back, because like the more people hear about it, the more Radiants start to come back, flying around in the middle of a populated city seems like a bad idea. You know what I mean? These apprentices are not doing the best job for Niall, is all I'm saying. I don't think he's that heartbroken that they both just get fucking murked off page. Because he's like, you aren't great at the whole, like, we are secretly killing the other Radiants so that the Radiants don't return thing.
Yeah.
When they're like, fuck it. I know that it's a walk away, but let's just, like, fly there.
If I could fly, though, I would also just fly all the time. And I would not make a good spot.
Yeah, but you don't have an ancient god who's going to murder you if you are too conspicuous.
Yeah, even still, I think I would fly. But I'm not very smart, so...
So they fly off. Zeth is like, hey, Lift, my sword likes you. Also, you don't stand a chance. What are you doing? And Lift is like, it's fine. And then Zeth is out of... That's the end of Zeth in the book. I really don't know. I don't know where the fuck this is going. Because at the end of Words of Radiance, Niall is like, let's go back to Shin so that you can punish them. And then here, maybe they're on their way to Shin?
So
I
he's
don't
got to
know.
get good before he can fight the Herald Blades, right? Like, Niall was like, Niall was like, because Zeth was like, I can't fight them. And Niall was like, not yet, I'm going to teach you. So Zeth has to, like, learn... So before he can fight his people.
None of that is going to happen.
Maybe.
Because Niall's broken at the end of this book anyway. And so he's not, his goals have changed. And so it's like, why did we do all of this?
The whole Niall thing, his shift at the end of this book definitely changes things for Stormlight.
Right? Because he's now, his entire perspective has changed. And so it's kind of like,
does that make him better or worse?
I'm really curious once we get into Oathbringer if they kind of explain why we did all this. I want to know why Brandon Sanderson set up Niall in this way.
Yeah.
Only to like drastically change his worldview in a side novella.
Yeah.
Because now when Niall shows up in the main books, they're going to have to explain this. Because not everyone's going to read. I don't know. This felt like really important mainline information that was just kind of like pushed out of the mainline.
Especially if Niall is going to be like a main antagonist, and maybe he's not, but it just seems like... yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. Definitely confused about that. We're just gonna have to see when we get into Oathbreaker. What is it?
It just kind of feels like in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, Thanos showed up, and they're like, oh, but actually you don't want to kill everybody. And Thanos was like, oh, yeah, you're right. And then it's like, well, then what happens in Infinity War?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of has that vibe of like, oh no, actually we solved the Loki thing in a TV show on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Thor, don't worry about that in Ragnarok. We solved it on Disney Plus.
Which
is just a little bit what this felt like to me. But once we get into, I'm sure it won't feel that way once we get into Oathbringer. But right now, I just feel a little bit like this seems weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have the whole picture yet, so we're like, where the fuck does this piece fit in? Like.
Chloe Root says it's almost more like a world building project in some ways than a novel series. You know what? I really agree with that. I think that's some of. I think it's why I keep saying that I think that all of the writing is good, but the books don't feel like books to me.
Yeah.
Is that it almost feels like more of a world-building project than a novel series. I think there's some validity to that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And maybe that's the thing that I need to get over to enjoy this more.
I mean, you're still, like, you know,
I'm having a great time with it. I think, you know, I think Way of Kings to me was a little bit hit and miss. Mm-hmm. I really like Words of Radiance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, but that's an interesting way of viewing it, right? Is like,
yeah, no, I definitely get that vibe for sure.
I think that this stuff with Niall is I guess my point is I think this stuff with Niall is going to make more sense in hindsight than it does to me right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We cannot see where the fucking road is taking us at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zeth is there. I don't know, doing shit. He feels weird about it though.
I think maybe he just dies in the storm. We never see him again.
Good.
But Zeth...
They bring him back to life just for him to die off screen.
Zeth is like, oh, you can't fly. Fuck. Well, it's the philosopher at the amphitheater is who they're going after. Which it isn't. But they don't know that because, again, the apprentices are dumb.
Yeah, no, they're definitely apprentices for a reason, and they're not even shard bearers yet for a reason. So Lift is like, awesome. And she goes... to the orphanage.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But she keeps fucking up.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. And so she runs there. There's a scream. And she thinks... then Stump opens the door and thinks that Lift is the one who, like, screamed to try and, like, get in for shelter.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that scream was the apprentices who died. Yeah. Okay. So I was like, we're on the same page, right? She shows up, and that kid, Mike, is totally healed. Totally normal, functioning human being.
Which is weird, because Willy Wonka sent him through a TV station into a smaller form. It's crazy that happened.
Wow, you really have Willy Wonka on the brain.
I mean, you keep calling him Mike, even though I think his name's Mick.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, because it's M-I-K.
You're right.
And so she, like, goes into the alleyway to find to save the old man, the old philosopher from the two apprentices, and doesn't need to because he fucking murdered those apprentices so hardcore with his crabs. He gave those two crabs so hard they died.
Yep.
Yeah.
So much crabs was had and passed around.
So much crabs was had.
Yeah. Then he just word vomits a lot of information that will make sense in hindsight. But right now I was like, okay, so he's immortal. He's trying to come up with a philosophy. So he's fucking Sally from fucking Peanuts. Mm-hmm. Charlie Brown. And I'm assuming is maybe related to the other immortal dude that I talked about at the beginning of the podcast. Yeah. Maybe, ? Also has, like, siblings and stuff. And then I was like, maybe this is the guy that Hoyd is hunting?
No, maybe. I didn't think about that. This might be who Hoyd is looking for.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure. Not sure if he is a shard or if he's from this planet. No idea. Not a clue.
Says, has the crab changed your perspective at all on Hoyd talking to the crab at the end of Words of Radiance? No. Because whether Hoyd was saying that nonsense to somebody, and here's the reason. Hoyd was waxing poetic about the power of storytelling to the guards at the end of Way of Kings, and I rolled my eyes at that. And so I also rolled my eyes at this. It wasn't about the audience. It was about the, like, English professor writing about the power of English professorship.
Yeah.
Not about English professorship, but it was the vibe of the, like, we don't need to go over that again, but yeah.
Yeah.
The audience in both cases are characters who don't have any perspective in the stories, and so it is just the author writing to the audience.
Yeah.
Us, the audience.
Yeah, so I'm definitely, I think, gonna go reread that chapter again.
When Immortals start showing up again later on in the series.
Because they're definitely, I know that there is information in there that is important. I cannot really remember because I have no context to tie it to.
Yeah,
and so it kind of just went in one ear and out the other, even though I listened to it twice. So will be cool at some point. And then we go back into the orphanage because
Lift figures out that she shares half a radiance with the Stump. Throughout the book, Lift has been like, oh yeah, she's like money laundering spheres for some reason, but she's actually just trading infused spheres for done spheres that are worthless because she keeps dunning her spheres because this woman has healing powers like Lift does. But not the other one because her spren is a mirrored light reflected on a wall.
Yeah, which I wonder is maybe the same as the cobbler's spren.
Maybe, but I'm not gonna lie to you. A mirrored light reflected on a wall would drive me fucking crazy.
Oh my god, I know. It's like having like when you're driving and I've got my phone and the sun is just hitting right in your eye in the worst way possible.
Oh god, she has the worst spren. I would never fall asleep because I would like roll over, see it on the wall, and freak myself out.
Yeah, awful.
Oh my god.
But I'm assuming that she's gonna be the same kind of radiant that the cobbler guy would have been. Because I think that's just interesting. But she thinks that the kids that are coming to her that are getting healed, she doesn't realize that she thinks that they're all just fucking faking it. Yeah. That she is surrounded by fucking liars and fakes. Like
I'm not gonna lie. I think Edgedancer is good. It's good. It's a good little novella until the end of the Immortal Crab conversation. And then the Immortal Crab conversation to the end of the book, fantastic. Yeah. Right? Like, this is amazing. This scene with Darkness fucking slaps so hard, and it's the value of the whole thing. Where Lift finally is like, I will listen to the people who are unheard, right? And she finally says the words. She gets her shard blade, but she's like, I don't do swords, so instead it just becomes a shard rod. Yeah. And Darkness fucking stabs the Stump with a fucking knife.
Yeah, let her bleed out.
Because he's the fucking worst.
Oh yeah, he's a piece of shit.
And Lift beats him by being talking to him. And like she does,
power,
right?
Love, Murph.
Well, no, but in this case it's the power of like the power,
understanding.
Well, and it gets so good at the end because all of the like, what is Lift's power in relation to hearing the unheard and remembering the unremembered,
right?
And how does that actually like help her in a fight? It doesn't. Right? It's about this moment where she reaches out to him soul to soul, and it helps that the Everstorm comes and like the world starts to end and she's able to be like, you're wrong.
That's proof. Yeah, obviously. She's like, take a fucking look outside. The Voidbringers are back. Like, I don't know what you're on about, my dude.
But there was a point halfway through this week where Clarus and I were talking and I was like, like this book isn't really doing much for me. I don't know if we're going to have a lot to talk about on Sunday.
Whatever. Yeah.
And then the end of the book is just so good.
Yeah.
Like it really, I love chapter 19 so much. I thought that Brandon Sanderson set up a lot of stuff, and it's not really like a Sanderland. Like it's not that complicated, but the final moments here are just so like really, because I called the video like low risk high reward, and the high reward at the end because the book there's not a lot at stake here. Yeah, just a couple of people, but it's not like the whole world is at stake. But the reward at the end of this book I thought was just so exemplary. I really 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 loved the final like 3-4 chapters.
Yeah. Now I have a question. Do you think that Darkness has, like, they call him mad, and there's, like, things about him, obviously, that, like, seem that way, but do you think that there's a visible shift in him when Lift, like, points out that he has failed? Do you think that visible shift is totally internal, or do you think that perhaps he has been influenced by some kind of odium spren?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just the being alive forever thing. You know what I mean? I think that it is
right,
the like.
She asks him, "Do you even feel anything?"
Yeah, I think that it is the like they walked away from their honor
Yeah.
3,000 years ago when they left their blades in the stone.
Yeah.
And I think that as we get to see all of the heralds, the weight of having walked away from their honor in that moment is, maybe honor Almighty is dead. Maybe honor is dead because he was bonded to the 10 heralds. And when they walked away from their honor in that moment, like the way that Spren died, that's how honor died.
Oh, interesting.
So because the 10 heralds 9 of the 10 heralds walked away from their honor, the Almighty was splintered in that moment, and that's when the Stormfather became the Stormfather.
I see. That's
because
interesting.
like the Stormfather was the splinter that was kept alive by the honor of the one of the 10 that didn't walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's something there.
Kind of love that. Yeah.
There's something in there.
That's very cool. All right.
Because why? Because I don't think someone killed the Almighty. If we do that, like Odium killed the Almighty again, I feel like we got to do something different.
But here's the thing,
because that's just too Mistborny to me.
Here's the thing, Odium can still be responsible for the Almighty's death by influencing them walking away. Perhaps Odium is the reason for their eternal torture. Right?
Yes, yeah.
Like, every time, like, they wake up, they fight, they do the same thing, and then they are tortured for eternity, and, like, that can be Odium. And so, if Odium is the one who, like, broke them, then Odium is responsible for killing the Almighty. Yeah. Right? Like, so both things can be true without Odium literally being like, dead.
Yeah.
You know, right? Like...
I like that idea, because then it ties the way that Honor died to the way that the Spren can die.
Yes.
And it means that the Almighty can come back because of the because the heralds are still around.
Yes, because it feels like these gods are actually just Spren on a larger scale. Yeah. And so Spren can maybe kind of come back. That there is a chance that the
gods
Almighty...
are Spren on a larger scale.
Yes.
Does this series end with all the Spren dying because they come back to one thing and the Almighty's reborn when all the Spren are reunited? That's book 10. That's the end of book 10. Is the Spren reunite to reform God.
And then it becomes Earth because the Spren disappear.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so Lift is able to convince Darkness that it's worth like being good again, and he starts to cry, and Lift hugs him.
Yeah.
And so he fucking flies off. He's just out of there. Yeah. And Lift goes over and heals Stump because she's got some of those pancakes left in her.
Yep. And then gets more pancakes.
And then we
finish our pancake journey.
Final chapter. And we realize that we need to eat the 10th pancake. And what is the 10th pancake, Clarus?
It is the idea of a pancake.
I was livid for Lift.
Yeah, I would also have been upset.
Mad. Like if you told me there were 10 donuts at the party and the 10th donut was the idea of a donut, I would burn the party to the ground.
Yeah, no, I would riot.
Unbelievable. Disgusting.
Yeah. I'm ashamed.
Yeah.
It's the friends we make along the way. Yeah.
But what pancakes there are, guess what? Wendell's like, I can only become metal. So, like, that's the rule. And she's like, oh, good. I never need to bring utensils with me ever again. You can be whatever utensil I need.
Yeah, but she's like, just eat with your hands.
No, what? No, she uses a shard fork.
And then she stabs through the dresser.
Well, yeah. That
it doesn't go well, and she's like, just eat with my hands. Like, it's easier that way.
I know, but she turns him into a fork, and that's funny, okay? We can't skip over the fact that she turns her shard blade into a fork, because Lift is not like the other girls.
Grab your torch and pitchforks. Except it's just a fork.
I would be like, I want a trident. I want to be like Aquaman. My shardent.
Shardent.
My shardent.
Your shardent.
Riding into battle with my shardent. And then she's like, you know what? We survived the high storm. We gotta go back to Azir. We gotta help Gox.
Yeah.
I
have finally discovered what it means to be growing up. Yeah. Even though I went to cultivation maybe and asked to be stuck the same way forever?
I hope we find out what that. I thought we were going to find out more about that in this book.
Nope.
But we did not.
Nope. No idea what that is.
As she's leaving the town, she like stops and pats everyone and is like, peace be with you, and heals them, and then peace be with you. Peace be with you. She is Jesus. Lift is just Jesus, healing the sick on the way out of town. Yeah. Just blowing on people with her light.
I guess so.
And healing their bodies.
Good, yeah. Good for them. She's going to need a lot of pancakes. And that's kind of the book.
Yeah. It's honestly pretty good.
It's fun.
It really...
The ending brings it all together.
Yeah.
For sure.
There was definitely a part in the middle where I like Lift. I got a little tired of her in the middle. Like,
she's an annoying child.
Her willful ignorance got on my nerves a little bit when it didn't feel like much was happening.
Being Wendell.
Oh, I know. It's why he's my second favorite friend, because I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Kaladin broods, but god damn does Kaladin not do this shit.
Yeah.
No, I just found her to be... there was a part in the middle of this book where I was like, oh, I don't know that I could read a Stormlight-length book where she was like a Shallan-level character.
Right.
It's a little... She's why you don't have kids. Yes. She's why Clarissa and I are never having children.
Yeah, 100%.
And so when the book started to pick up and things were happening, and there were a few more characters in the scene, and it wasn't just Lift annoying Wendell. I think that's what it was. There's a stretch in the middle of the book where, like, the chapters are just kind of Lift and Wendell talking.
Yeah.
And they got a little repetitive. The information was interesting, but the, like, banter between the two of them was a little repetitive for a section.
Oh my god, Wendell, I'm so sorry.
And so once we got from the, like, her going after darkness to the Indicium to that part of the book I really enjoyed. Because there were other people around bringing some other perspectives into the conversations than just sort of, like, Lift being like, I want to steal, I want food, I want to piss off Wendell. It almost wore on me, and then the end of the book got so good that I didn't mind that middle as much.
Yeah.
It's also short, so it wasn't a big deal, but...
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's why I'm, like, happy that we had this growth with Lift before she becomes part of the main series.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much she's going to be, like, in it.
I think she's going to be huge.
She probably will be, because they're trying to, like, bring all the ratings together. Like, they're going to need everybody, not just 4 people, right? So...
This was fun.
It was, yeah. If you have any questions that are relevant to Edgedancer you want to do for the full book recap, the Discord question channel is open. All right.
Oh, we have something.
What?
Yeah.
I have no idea what this is.
We have our Words of Radiance mini set.
Oh, which we haven't looked at because we were worried about.
All right, what's in here? We have Adolin.
Great.
Blue shard plate Adolin. Okay. We have Pattern, like full standing pattern.
Oh, interesting. Okay, we have Wit.
Wit? I think Wit's going to be a pain in the ass to paint.
No, I got it. I can do those details.
Oof, that's small.
Yeah.
We have Kaladin in the fucking... Look at that. Looks sick.
Nice.
Taravangian. Veil. Oh.
That's so funny.
As Veil, she's got a little fucking cowboy hat. Look at that.
Oh, there we go.
She's got a little hat and rock.
Nice.
Welcome to the rock.
Very cool. All right, so none of those are really spoilers, but I'm glad we didn't look anyways.
Pate, Adolin, Shardplate, Ass Brown. We're not going to do that.
Judah,
thank you for that super chat. Imagine how strong Lift will be in her 20s. I mean, if the world lasts long enough for her to be in her 20s, she's going to be crazy powerful.
And also if she can get access to enough food to develop as a normal human being.
Well, I don't know. Like, she might be able to just sort of get better at filling up during the high storms, right?
Yeah.
Because she can heal, she could just, like, stand out in the high storm and just sort of, like, fucking fill to the brim with Stormlight.
The Wit pose looks like a fucking sim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
I see that.
It looks like a sim. That's so funny. Oh, my God.
I cannot wait to have Adolin and Dalinar next to each other in their shard plate. That's going to be sick.
Hell yeah. I'm excited for those. We will be painting these during Oathbringer reactions.
Yeah.
In a few weeks. It'll be a new setup. We've got a new house.
I know. Crazy.
So that's fun. Very excited.
Yeah, thank you so much to everyone who joined us today. This was a blast. I really appreciate you all.
Yeah, it was.
I'm really excited to do a full book recap next week. And then... I
think we're going to have a lot to talk about because of the scope of this series.
I really do.
Yeah.
New light? I don't know what you mean by new light. I always thought Veil's hat was a straight brim hat. No, she has like a cute little like cowboy hat.
Kind of. I don't know. Is it a cowboy hat? It's like... Yeah, I guess it kind of is. Yeah. But it's like not like a rounded cowboy hat in the front. It's more of like a...
Different lighting in the new place. Maybe. We don't know yet. We haven't figured it out, so...
Oh, for me to paint
it'll be darker behind us, I think.
I gotta figure out the paint light, because it's like... I know it's kind of in front of my face. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to figure out...
something that's like up here that shoots down.
Just like top lighting for me.
Something... well, and we could do that. We could figure that out. We could have something that's plugged in so that you don't have to worry about it. It's turning off.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of stuff to figure out in the new place. We'll probably like do a
spotlight.
little. We'll do a little like house tour or something, and
we have a lot of Lego I want to build on stream while we just hang out. I want to do more hangout streams.
Yeah.
We're gonna do one on Monday, so everyone come Monday for Rings of Power.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
And if you don't want to talk about Rings of Power, I don't blame you.
Yeah. Start looking at this setup for Oathbringer. If you guys want to have more splits, we are down to go a little bit slower through Oathbringer.
Oh, really?
So we can fit in more of the, because then we'll be able to do more audiobook reactions, but also we have less time because of my show.
Well, so it depends. So I just want to
if we want to add one split to Oathbringer, I'm down to do like a 7 instead of a 6.
Well, so I wanted to pull up the calendar here, right? So next Friday, the 11th, is the full book recap, okay?
Yep.
And then we don't have book club until October 20th. So we will be starting Oathbringer October 20th, and we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a second. 6. No, wait. Sorry, I went to the wrong...
I can just look at the announcement in Discord.
I'm just trying to look at how many weeks we have until the end of the year, because I would love to finish Oathbringer by the end of the year. That's all.
Yeah, but we have... So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 streams. So if we do 7 and a full book recap, we would do the full book recap on December 23rd.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
On Monday, December 23rd.
Yeah.
So I think a 7 split, we can slow down a little bit.
I thought we had a 7 split for this one.
We had 6 plus this is week 7. This is the 7 split because of Edgedancer.
Okay, so question. Is there another novella thingy that we have to fit in as well?
We can do the other novella. We can start 2025 with the novella.
After the full book recap.
Yeah, we'll do the full book recap for Oathbringer. I feel like we should have done that this time. We should have done the full book recap and then the novella. Yeah. Let's do a 7 split. Here's the plan. We'll do a 7 split with the full book recap on December 23rd, and then we're going to come back in 2025 with the novella.
Okay. I think that seems reasonable, right, guys?
Yeah.
If the first stream back in the new year is the novella.
So come up with a 7 split. We'll finish Oathbringer this year. We'll end on Oathbringer, which I like. We'll end on a big Stormlight. I've heard a lot of people say they think Oathbringer is going to be my favorite book in the series, so I'm very excited.
I'm excited too.
Judah, can I just think about Super Chat?
Judah, thank you so much. We are going to react to Arcane Season 2.
Of course we are.
100%. Yeah, sorry, Arzu. I feel like I wasn't planning on talking about this, but it just kind of came up. So as long as that works, I don't know, Arzu, if you had a different plan, happy to hear it as well. Because you guys actually know what's going on.
I just think that making the rest of the year about Oathbringer is smart, and then we'll do Dawn Shard on its own. Yeah.
Definitely do the full book of Oathbringer before Dawn Shard. Okay.
Oathbringer is really long. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think a 7 split will be good.
It's okay to read it that way. All right. Cool.
Right. So let's make that the plan. Let us know where we're stopping, and I think we talked about it. I think we're gonna cap audiobook reactions at 4 a week.
Even if we're adding an extra week to split it up.
Yeah. Why would we do more audiobook reactions?
Because you just said if we make it an extra week, then we can do more audiobooks.
Yeah. Because that would be an extra 4 because we would have an extra week.
4.
Like that final week, we could do 4 as well. So we would have. So essentially, there's 21 total options for audiobook. No, wait, what's 7 times 4? 28, right? So there's 28 chapters out of 100 and whatever in Oathbringer.
And we're not going to include our free one in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the free one is free.
So if people want a commission, there's 28 options.
Yeah. Arzu says, insist we go back to Mistborn after the novella. I think that starting off the new year with novella and the Mistborn, and not
go into Rhythm of War.
I think that's totally fair. That's how we start the new year.
All right, we're gonna. I guess still give other people time to have read and really know the Wind and Truth before we get to it.
Before we split it up.
All right.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Which
I think is fair. The only reason we are trying to make sure we read in as much of Stormlight as we can is because we really want to be on that TTRPG when it comes out.
Yeah.
So we'll take that into account. But yeah, I think starting off the new year with novella and Mistborn sounds fabulous. If we do, now let me pull up that Discord schedule because maybe there is a world.
I'm excited to open these and get them primed.
Yeah. Monday, December 23rd. Oh. So there, okay, so maybe, so that final week, what is December 23rd? Oh no, you have a show on that Monday. That's why we're not doing a book club.
Yeah. I have a show on the 30th. That's why I said we'll come back with a novella in 2025.
Okay. Unless you want to do a Ring in the New Year book club.
I'd like to do a New Year's Eve thing.
Like a thing? Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
All right, I think that's book club for today. We'll come back next week with a full book recap. Throw your questions at the questions channel. Sorry, there's been a lot of logistics stuff at the end here, but we want to be upfront about what book club's going to be during my show, and I know it's going to throw things off, and I'm sorry about that. But thank you for being accommodating. We'll have a schedule as soon as you guys have a split for us. And if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave mean comments down below because the algorithm got us hungry, and we must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is Lift, because,
obviously.
Yeah. Or Stump. Honestly, either one. If you want to follow us on the internet, do that. I'm at nerdynightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
Speaking of Claris Polaris, Claris, what's your high for Edgedancer?
Ooh, excuse me. I think, like you said, the ending sequence really brings the story together.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. I had a lot of there was a lot of enjoyment throughout it. But the talking to darkness.
Yeah.
Being how things are resolved.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure to some people feels anticlimactic,
mm-hmm.
but I really enjoyed it. Actually.
I thought it was the only way to end this book.
Yeah.
I did not want her to fight him.
Yes. How fucking could she? You know what I mean? Yeah. What's your low?
My low is just that middle, chapter, I think it's 6 to 12. Where I was getting a little annoyed with just Lift kind of annoying
window. You're what are we doing?
It didn't feel like the book was going anywhere. It was just cutesy, look at how annoying this kid is stuff that I just, in hindsight, I don't mind it as much.
Yeah.
Because I do understand where it was going. But there was a moment in there I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like this book very much.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that it changed.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
What's your low?
My low is the 10th pancake.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was rude.
That's very fair.
Fuck you and your pancakes. What's your high?
Oh, interesting. This is gonna be so dark, but it's the moment where Niall kills the girl in the street.
Oof.
I just thought the writing of that was so effective. I thought it the impact of it was so apparent, and I thought that it did a really good job of being this strong commentary on how justice is often unfair to the lower class, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you ever wanted a Brandon Sanderson ACAB moment, that was it, right? Because it was...
Yeah.
And all of Niall's justifications, the if I cut off their hand, they're actually more likely to do crime, and that part of the book, I just thought it was a really interesting criticism of the way in which justice is imparted upon people of lower class.
Yeah, for sure.
And sort of the way he leaves her body there to be collected later.
Yeah, it's just here's
just
the paperwork.
So uncaring and dark,
yeah.
And I don't know. It was very emotionally difficult to read. I felt very affected by it. And honestly, that's probably where the book kind of turned towards something I was more interested in.
For
I would say, I don't know what chapter that is, but that is the chapter where this book went from being kind of I'm kind of annoyed with Lift to I see what we're doing.
Yeah.
And
right. I get the point. Yeah.
And so it's not my favorite part of the book because it's I love it, because it made me feel good, but I think it's my favorite part because it's where I felt I understood what the purpose of this novel was from Niall's perspective, and from there to the end I thought it was a really strong. I feel like we were making jokes and stuff throughout this. I don't know that we talked about this book the best because we're just kind of trying to have a fun book club about it, but there is some really good commentary stuff in this novel about systems of oppression and how justice is often oppressive, and how it's unfair to people who have less. And I thought, as dark as that moment was, I thought it was really well done, and written really well, and made Niall a great villain for the novel.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I am glad that this novella exists because I know Brandon Sanderson talked about it in a postscript.
Yeah.
But, like, how, like...
The postscript is actually really good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
It talks about how this, like, changes things for these people that are going to be important.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. This was a good time.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. There's not going to be any smut corner because the book's about a child, so we're just going to not do that. That's
fair.
Yeah, we'll have some smut corner for you next week on the full book recap. This has been the Nerdy,
the Wordy,
the book club, and I want to end with no smut corner, but a big old thank you to our mods. The creepy rooms we're going to keep you in the basement of our new house are nicer than the ones you are locked in at this house. So get ready.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Get ready.
We're doing this
we're
for
not
you.
feeding you anymore, but the rooms are nicer.
Yeah. I think one even has a window.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Do something nerdy tonight.
Bye, guys.